Folks, we're dealing with a few seemingly minor technical issues related to getting the live stream up and running, so bear with us for a few minutes. Thank you.
Good morning. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, September 25th, 2024, 9:30 a.m. meeting. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Chair, do you have any opening remarks?
Okay, I see a few new faces, so for those of you who haven't been here before, we allow the applicant to speak first. Anyone else interested will speak thereafter. If you haven't signed in on the case that you're here for, you need to sign in. One benefit of that is you get a copy of the decision mailed to you once the case is decided. Other than that, we run it somewhat like a courtroom in that we do apply the rules of evidence somewhat more loosely, but we use them as guidance as to what we think is relevant to the case and what may not be, and whether or not we're going to admit it. Anything you seek to have admitted into evidence, or put differently, anything you want us to look at, we need to admit into evidence. So photographs, for example, we need you to give them to us and we keep them for the file. If we're using them to consider the case, they have to be a part of the file and the record. So those of you who have photos on the phone, which happens quite often, and wish for us to look at them, we're going to need a paper copy unless you want to give us your phone for the file. So that being said, I think that's everything. If you have any other questions, you can ask one of the members of the zoning board over here, or wait your turn and feel free to ask once you come up. Okay, Mr. Patrick.
Madam Chair, I have one case for adjournment this morning, case 61424. Inwood, Jamie Romero, variance lot area, construct a two-story and second-story addition and convert one family to two-family dwelling, also known as 53 Clinton Avenue. Just your name and address for the record.
Robert Hoffman for Emil Savaldi.
Closer.
Robert Hoffman for Emil Savaldi Architect, 1 Meadow Drive, apartment 3F, Woodsburg, New York, 11598.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Now, I want to ask you the reason for your request, but I want to ask you in the context of this application, because it's a little different than a lot of the ones we have. You want to construct a two-story and second-story addition, but you also seek, your client seeks to convert the one family to a two-family. Is it already being used as a two-family? Because that will affect our timing.
No, it's not.
Okay, so go ahead and tell me why you need an adjournment.
We need adjournment because Emil is getting back. Emil is still in Israel, and due to flights, he's having scheduling difficulties.
Your client is in Israel.
No, the architect's in Israel.
The architect, thank you. So the architect's in Israel, and you need him here for your presentation?
Correct.
And he's having trouble getting back. How much time do you think you need?
Sometime in October will be good, if you can give me that, because he will definitely be around.
One second. Is there anyone else here on this, I don't have the sign-in sheet, on this case? Was that it? Oh, okay, great. Okay, sometime in when?
Whatever schedule you have in October, he'll
Do you-
definitely be here.
Do you expect him to be able to get back by then?
I spoke to him last night, this morning, the other day. He's getting back here.
Okay, there's no one else here on the case. One moment. Patrick, did we know this might be adjourned? Are there people we need to give notice to, given it's a convert to a two-family?
I don't believe there were any comment slips in the file.
Okay. And no one else called in about it?
No.
All right. Okay, what do we have in October, Patrick?
October, we really don't have anything. We can really do December 4th at 11.
No November either?
No.
What do you want to do?
Okay, I guess that's the earliest we can do.
All right, I'm sorry, December,
He's going back to Israel, so that's where I was hoping for October.
I'm sorry, he's coming in October, but you think he's going back to Israel?
Yes.
Well, he's just going to have to be here then, he'll have to arrange his schedule.
All right, so what day is it then?
Go ahead, Patrick.
December 4th at 11 a.m.
All right, we'll see you then. There will be no, for anyone here knows anyone who is interested in this case, there will be no further notice going out by mail, so that's it.
Okay,
Have a nice day.
thank you.
Madam Chair, I do not have any other requests for adjournment from this morning.
Okay, so let's call the
We have
regular calendar.
Case 59924, Levittown, Nancy Carapellucci, renewal of grant to maintain 6-foot-high stockade fence and 3-foot-high vinyl fence, also known as 68 Amber Lane.
I need that.
Good morning, Michael Carapellucci, 50.
Sir, you need to speak louder because she also has to transcribe it all.
Sure. Good morning, Michael Carapellucci, 50 Town Street, Amityville, New York, 11701.
You're here to
I am here,
renew
my parents, renew a fence permit for my parents?
the grant of a 6-foot fence. And a
Correct.
3-foot vinyl fence.
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add before I go
My
through
parents, my parents had to go to a funeral, they called me and said, please go. I don't even know what I'm doing, so.
Oh, okay,
I
well,
apologize. I
that's
know
okay.
they bought a house however many, 20-something years ago, which had a fence, they got a permit for it, and apparently you have to do it, renew it every
Yeah,
5
it's-
years or so.
It was granted on a 5-year renewable term.
Understood.
But they have to appear each time.
Okay.
So the building department went out and inspected the premises on July 23rd of this year, 2024, and found that your parents were in compliance with all the conditions that were previously imposed by this board. And so given that you have nothing more to add, are there any other questions from the board? If not, is there a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board deliberates and renders its decision, you will be notified.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? All right, sir, you're done.
And quickly, when is that decision normally?
Some of the cases will be decided today. Some other cases the board may want to inspect or get other information about. So since it's an existing fence, I doubt there's any urgency, but it may be decided tonight. If not, it'll be decided probably the next time we meet.
Something will be sent to my parents, or do I have to come back for something?
Nope. Well, actually, it won't be sent to your parents because you're the one who signed in.
So it'll be
So
sent
it will
to
go
me.
to you, and
Okay.
it might go to your parents also.
As long as
You
it goes
live in
to
the
me,
same
my-
house?
No, that's why my parents are away for 2 months. As long as it comes to me, which I signed in, that's great. It's a different address.
And I think one will also go to the owner of record.
Okay, so, but as long as I get a copy, that's all I needed to know.
All right, have a nice day.
Thank you. You do the same.
600. I need this one.
Next, we have case 624, Merrick Redmond Road LLC, Melissa Waters, renewal of grant to maintain 2-family dwelling, also known as 2238 Redmond Road.
Good morning. Melissa Waters, 2238 Redmond Road, Apartment 1, Merrick, New York,
this is the case I want.
11566.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're here for renewal of a grant on a two-family dwelling.
Correct.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? I will say the building department inspected the premises July 22nd, 2024, and found the applicant to be in compliance with all previously imposed conditions. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you'll be notified.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a nice day.
Same thing, I'll get a notification.
You'll
of
get
the
it in the
verdict.
mail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have case 60124, Inwood, Sebastiana Martinez, renewal of grant to maintain two-family dwelling, also known as 479 Bayview Avenue. Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Please take a seat and state your name and address for the record.
Good morning. It's Jonas Martinez, 479 Bayview Avenue. It's Jonas Martinez, 479 Bayview Avenue, Inwood, New York, 11096.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're here also, it must be two-family day here.
Yeah.
You're here for a renewal of a two-family grant.
Yes.
The building department inspected the premises on July 19th,
Yeah.
2024, and found the applicant to be in compliance with all the conditions that were previously imposed. I take it the other person who signed in is with you and doesn't need to speak?
Yeah, this is my
Okay, is
father.
there anything else you wish to add?
No.
Are there any other questions from the board? If not, is there a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you'll be notified.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, you done? Thank you.
thank you.
You'll get a copy of the decision in the mail.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have cases 60224 through 60524, near Westbury, 865 Merrick Partners LLC. Renewal of grants, maintain one double-face ID sign, overall size 44 square feet, 22 square feet per face, setback 2 feet 4 inches from Bravado Road, maintain second detached ID sign not permitted, single face and overall size 9 square feet, maintain third detached ID sign not permitted, single face and overall size 9 square feet and setback 6 feet from front property line on Merrick Avenue. Maintain fourth detached ID sign not permitted, double face and overall size 16 square feet, 8 square feet per face, and setback 5 feet from front property line on Merrick Avenue, also known as 865 Merrick Avenue.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Yeah, here, sir.
Oh, I'm an attorney. Yeah. I'm an attorney?
Yeah.
You still swear? Okay.
Yep. Good morning, Mr. Alvarez. Go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Greg Alvarez, Amato Law Group, 666 Old Country Road, Garden City, New York, here on behalf of 865 Merrick Partners LLC. As stated, we're here for a renewal of 4 detached signs that are located at 865 Merrick Avenue in Westbury. In the intervening time, there's been no change to the signs. They're kept in good maintenance and obviously subject to the building department review. We would ask for continuation of those variances.
Yes, Mr. Alvarez. And for the record, the building department inspected the premises on 7/22/2024 and found in all 4 cases that the conditions previously imposed were met. And therefore, if there's nothing else you wish to add, do I have any questions or do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you'll be notified.
Thank
Do
you
I-
very much. Have a good
Do I have a
walk.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Have a nice day.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next, we have case 60624, Uniondale 954 Car Wash Corp. Renewal of grant to maintain one double-face illuminated detached ground sign, overall size 88 square feet, 44 square feet per face, overall height 17 feet, setback 6 feet from Nassau Road, an LED reader, animated reader board sign attached thereto, not permitted, also known as 954 Nassau Road.
Morning, John Del Judas.
Oh, wait, speak as loudly as you can into the mic so she can hear you down.
John Del Judas, 954 Nassau Road, Uniondale, New York, 11553.
You're here for a renewal of the sign grant made to 954 Car Wash Corp.
Yes.
The building department inspected the premises on July 30th of this year, 2024, and found that the applicant was in compliance with all the previously imposed conditions. Is there anything else you wish to add?
The only thing I'll add is, I guess, the extra importance of the street sign. The building is set pretty far back on the property, so, you know, there's no real street exposure for the business, and the sign is our only representation on the street of us being there, so.
And that's, you referred to the sign that's already in place in here before us today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do I have, okay. I apologize. Did I put the building department on the record yet? Okay, I did? 7:30? Okay, sorry about that. All right, any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on a decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Next, we have case 60724, West Hempstead, Hempstead Tire Service Incorporated. Renewal of grant to maintain one double-faced ground sign, overall size 360 square feet, 180 square feet per face. Overall height 16 feet 3 inches. Setback 0 feet from front property line and 7 foot clearance from grade to bottom of sign. Also known as 265 Hempstead Turnpike.
I noticed, Mr. Owens, that no one signed in on the case. Shall we second call it?
Absolutely.
Should we maybe call, give them, have someone call?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We'll reach out to him right now.
608.
Next, we have case 60824, West Hempstead, Amirin Enoki, I apologize. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, side yard, construct two-story addition, second-story addition with balcony and roofed over existing open porch, all attached dwelling in excess of 50%, new CO required, also known as 556 Washington Avenue.
I am Eric Ehikaya, 556 Washington Avenue, West Hempstead, New York, 11552.
All right. Spoke up and spoke slowly. Thank you. Go ahead, sir. You're here before us today because you're making alterations to your house that exceed 50%, and you need some variance relief to construct a two-story addition and a second-story addition with a balcony roofed over the existing porch.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and tell us about the project, why you need it, what you plan to put in those.
I'm sorry, what was the second half?
Gary, just tell us why you need this relief, and in other words, you can't comply with the zoning ordinance, you need relief, and what you propose to use these spaces for.
Expanding, I need the relief. Current space is too small for my family, that's increasing. Expanding family, more children. It's currently one story, one bedroom, just need to add a second floor, a couple more rooms, and bathroom for the kids.
We need to put on the record the lot area occupied you proposed.
I'm sorry.
It's my voice. So you need relief in the way of lot area occupied, front yard average, setback, side yard setback. So I assume you're in a Residence B zone. So the lot area occupied you're allowed to have is 27.5%. What is the lot area occupied you propose? I can look, let me see if I can find it on your materials.
Thank you.
All right, it looks like you're proposing, it looks like right now you have 29.15%. When the house was built, that was probably allowable because it was 30% until, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. So, and what you propose for lot area occupied is 34.1%. I need them on the record too for the front yard average setback in your area. It looks like the area average, relevant area average, is 14.55 feet. Your house currently exists at 13.88, and you'd like to keep it that. In other words, it's not changing. In the front yard, you're not going any closer.
No.
But since it was already a house that was below the average, you need relief anyway. And then the last thing that you need is the side yard. The side yard you're required to have on each side is 5 feet, at least 5 feet, I should say. It exists at 3.71, and you propose to keep the side yard at the same amount. So I take it that your addition is out the back of your house?
Yes, it's being counted at the back,
Okay, so the only real change is that you're
at the second story.
you're still gonna be able to maintain a compliant rear yard, but the lot area coverage that you propose is the only real change that would happen to the property
Yes.
if this proposal were granted.
Yes,
And we got all the numbers on the record.
thank you.
Give me 1 second.
Is there an exterior entrance to the basement?
Yes, right now, yes, but once we're done, I believe it's no longer going to be there.
You mentioned adding a bathroom. Is
On the
that?
second floor.
On the second floor. So the bathroom in the cellar already exists?
I'm sorry?
The bathroom in the, what kind of, do you have a basement?
We do, but we're closing it up, because it's not legal, so we're tearing it apart.
Wait, you're filling it with
Oh,
concrete,
it's
closing it
unfinished,
up?
I guess that's
or-
the word.
Pardon me?
It's an unfinished basement right now.
Existing basement?
Yeah,
But it has a bathroom.
it has a bathroom, but it's not finished. I'm not sure if I'm using the right words.
It's okay. So other than a bathroom, are there any other walls down there? Do you have for example, do you have your boiler down there? Or your laundry?
That's where, yeah, the gas heater, all the, I guess, the gas heater, yeah, they're all in the basement. The
Is there a-
furnace, the boiler, yeah.
Is there a kitchen down there?
No.
Okay. When you say that you're closing it up, and then you said tearing it out, what do you mean you're taking out of the basement?
Part of the variance originally was to redo the basement. I was advised it would take too long, so we're just gonna leave it unfinished. That's what I meant.
Okay, so back to the cellar.
Cellar? I don't have a,
The bathroom, you wrote on your plans that in the basement is existing bath.
Yes.
Three-piece bath.
yes, but it's not used. It's,
What doesn't matter? You need a plumbing permit for that.
I believe I have one.
No, I don't believe you do. It says open plumbing permit. The permit search certificate says open plumbing permits, and there's none listed. All your permits are closed. So,
So there is or is not a cellar entrance? The elevations don't seem to show one. When we say, by the way, when we say cellar, we mean basement or cellar. And also, when we say entrance, we mean, is there a door from the exterior of the house? Because I see you have a side entrance that may also be serving as, you walk into the house there and then you go down?
Yes,
Okay, so
but
what,
directly to the basement, no.
is that, if we walk into this, is it the side entrance that we walk into and then can go down or go into the main house?
Yes,
Okay. How long have you owned the house?
4 years, 2018.
Okay.
6 years.
When you bought it, was there any evidence that at one point there was an apartment downstairs in the basement? When we see houses with this kind of structure where you can walk in, and then they can put doors so you go down or there,
Oh,
it's
no.
often that it was used, maybe legally even, as a multifamily residence.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No evidence now.
Was that basement in was that bathroom in the basement there when you bought the house?
Yes.
When you say it's not usable, or you don't use it,
We don't use it.
Basement entrance, the finished basement bath, what happened with that? Apparently you filed a permit
Yes.
to remove that?
Yes. No, we had filed first to make it legal, but the process was going to take too long, so we decided to just keep the entire basement unfinished.
There's an application number 244288 that says demo and remove cellar.
The basement, yes.
Cellar finishes. So you're not gonna do that?
No, we're not going to do the basement. We're not going to finish it. We're going to keep it unfinished, yes.
Unfinished, but what about the bathroom?
Same thing, yeah. The entire,
That's
yeah.
gonna stay the way it is?
No, that's same thing. That's gonna unfinished as well. Everything in the basement's gonna be
So
unfinished.
the kitchen in the basement's gonna be removed?
There's no kitchen in the basement.
I mean, I'm sorry, the bath in the basement?
Yes.
You're gonna remove that?
Yes, correct.
Okay. There's another, the plans also indicate remove platform and concrete stairs. How do you get into the basement?
Joe, see, here's the exterior entrance. It doesn't go straight into the basement. The basement is from inside, see? Choo, 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 choo. But the entrance is here. It's not lined up with that.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
I misspoke earlier when I spoke about this side entrance. It has 2 doors. I thought that lined up with those stairs right inside that go to the basement, but it looks like the set of stairs that goes from the second floor to the first floor to the basement, those are all, it doesn't line up directly with the outside entrance.
No, it's gonna be gone after the construction. Right now it exists, but we're closing up after construction. Right now, you can come in from the side. When you come in, you can either go downstairs, go in, and after construction, that's gonna be closed up because of the extension. So the only access to the basement would be from inside.
Are there 2 sets of stairs that go down to the basement?
No, one.
Oh, on the plans, it shows where you walk in that side entrance. It doesn't show the stairs right there. It shows the stairs.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're looking
Offset.
at the new plans. No, those stairs go right into the kitchen. There are no stairs going to the base. There's no, the side entrance goes to the side of the house. I'm sorry, I was thinking of the current layout.
Oh, so the way you're describing it is how it is,
Yes,
not, and this
No.
is how you propose it. But this is,
Correct.
if this is the proposal, it's still, that's a hard one, because we do ask you to show everything that's there now. So the basement proposal shows what's there now, including that bathroom. But where do we have the basement proposal plan then?
I'm sorry.
Or, you said that you're gonna take the bathroom, out of the basement, right? Which means that the plan we're looking at for the basement is the current plan of what it looks like, not how you envision it if you're approved. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. But the first floor plan we're looking
a-
at is how you
Propose, yes.
propose it to be once you're finished, if
Correct.
approved.
This-
The second floor plan, is that how you
Propose.
intend it to be once you're finished?
Yes,
Okay, so the only issue is, the basement plan is showing but I'm not, I'm glad, I think we need you to show what's there in the basement, but you're telling us that, showing what's there, but you're gonna testify what is a plan to be removed, even though it says proposed basement plan about this bathroom.
I didn't update it. Yeah, yes, no, that's not proposed. That's what's currently there.
Okay, so if we're inclined to look favorably on your request, we would probably put in a condition, if that is what your plan is, we would probably put in a condition that the basement bathroom be removed, if that's what you're planning.
Yes,
I mean, we could put in there removed or legalized,
removed is the preferred.
because we could give you the option of going to the building department and seeing if you can legalize it, if you think you're gonna want it in the future.
Okay.
Because if we put this in as a condition,
Okay,
then you probably can really, it'd be hard to later put a bathroom there.
Okay.
So if we were to put removed or legalized, you'd have to put in motion the steps soon to legalize it. Now,
I'm
that
sorry,
doesn't.
steps?
Well, like you'd have to go and apply for it, let's
Oh,
say.
okay.
And
Yeah,
start
that
that process. Now, I'm not suggesting it's gonna be actually fully legalized in a month or two, but at least you'd have to set forth the steps to legalize it if we were to put the condition in that way.
That works.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay,
That was easy.
sorry. Okay, is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I'm hoping I get the approval. Been waiting for 2 years. We started this process because my wife was pregnant and the baby is now over a year old.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, if so, are there any other questions from the board? And if not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, sir, you're finished. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Next, we have case 60924 near East Rockaway, Lucille Cravata. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard setbacks on East Boulevard and Sperry Street. East side yard, construct second-story deck with stairs open below attached to dwelling, also known as 43 East Boulevard.
Diana Laspisa with Morano Expediting Services, 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Suite 212, Levittown, New York, 11756, here on behalf of the property owner, Lucille Cravata.
Good morning, Ms. Laspisa.
Good morning. So we're here before you today requesting permission to construct a one-story front entry deck onto the front of the home facing East Boulevard. This property is Zone C, and the maximum allowed lot coverage is 35%. We are proposing 57.1.
Wait, 57.1.
Yes, 57.1%. Yes, lot occupancy. And a minimum front yard setback required of 25 feet, and we're proposing 0.3 feet.
How much of the 57.1 already exists?
The deck itself is only 137.4
No. You're,
I don't have that in percentage.
okay, wait, you're here only to construct that deck, right?
Only the deck.
So
everything
obviously, you're not going from 35 to 57.1 for the deck. So I just
No.
want to know what percentage the deck is up. I want to know the change from existing to proposed.
Okay, so unfortunately, I don't have it in percentage, and I'm not good with calculating that in my head. It's 137 square feet is only what pertains to the actual deck.
All right, so you come here often.
I
You
know.
know we deal in percentages. I don't even know how many feet is, so.
No, if I had my
wait.
phone, I could calculate.
Okay, but just in the future, please.
I'll make sure to get that. I didn't realize that this plan didn't specify it.
And you're coming in for a really high percentage, so it's in your best interest for you to be able to say, the lot's already at 52%, and the deck that we need for egress is only gonna up it by 3%. That would
No,
be
I
it.
understand.
Otherwise, we're going, you're allowed 35 and you want 57?
Usually, the plans that I'm used to do specify both, so
Okay.
I just didn't realize that. I do apologize. In regards to the 0.3-foot setback, the 0.3 feet, I think, is important to mention that it is just for the last 3 steps down from the deck, or from the landing and steps. The deck itself is a 2-foot setback, and that's to the property line. It's not actually to the street. There's still the right-of-way. What we're proposing, so this house was a pre-existing non-conforming house that was granted a non-conforming permit in 2001. In 2013, the original house was demolished. The house was substantially damaged due to Hurricane Sandy, and they were required to elevate the home and rebuild the home, and that was done in 2013.
Okay, so hold on. So the non-conforming went away, I assume? Did they give you credit for the non-conforming since you rebuilt a brand-new house? It was no longer non-conforming, right?
No, but we were able to rebuild in 2013 back to what previously existed. So there
the
was,
footprint today is the footprint of the non-conforming,
yes,
identical, but for
Yes.
this staircase?
correct.
Okay, so that would tell you what the coverage was,
That required a new CO.
right?
For the new dwelling, yes, and that was in 2013. I was involved with the filing of the permits for the Hurricane Sandy rebuild. And at the time of rebuilding, all they had proposed was just a wood landing and steps, which I have photos of the house, how it exists. I'll submit that to the board, and you could keep those. So it's literally 15 steps from grade up to a minimal landing, the most minimal required to get into the house. So it's it's really difficult, getting in and out of the house, going up the 15 steps. So ideally, these houses on East Boulevard front the canal. So across the street from East Boulevard is where the canal is, and that's how they access their boat and water access. Whereas on the other side of the canal, West Boulevard backs up to the canal. So these,
But there's a street between, East Boulevard is a roadway between the house and the canal.
correct, and the people who reside on East Boulevard, their boat access is across that street. So it's very common for the homes on East Boulevard to have, in this case, it's going to be a one-story deck because they're not one of the homes that rebuilt oversized. They just rebuilt like in kind. So this is their first floor deck, whereas their neighbor directly next door, which I'll give those pictures in, and down the block and several others have two-story decks that overlook the canal. So this is very consistent with the other homes on East Boulevard.
Ms. Lespiza,
Yes.
often we have the second floor with the deck or whatever porch, with the steps down in the areas that had sandy damage as a means of ingress and egress, but this proposes to encroach very significantly into the clear sight triangle of the property, and I see the applicants already have a set of stairs with a wood landing for ingress and egress that isn't in the clear sight triangle, right?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part. So you're saying they have like a backdoor access. Is that what you're referring to, the access on Sperry Street?
Yeah, there's
That's-
a big walkway and a wood landing, like, the same 15 steps or whatever it is.
Well, it's essentially every house has a front door and a side door, or a front door and a rear door. So
Yeah.
that's like their rear door into their rear yard.
Right, but this is in the clear sight triangle. Oh, and they already have a stairs there.
That's part of what was permitted due to Hurricane Sandy. They needed to get stairs in and out of their house, so that's what was allowed as of right to rebuild when we had applied in 2013, to avoid having to go for a variance. I'm not sure what took place and took so long as to why they're now going, this application, I wasn't brought in for the filing of the building permit for this deck that we're before you for. I was just brought in for the variance portion of it, and that application was started in 2020, so I don't know, over the past 4 years, what transpired with the applicant that handled that as to why we're just making it before the board now for it.
So what is the front yard average setback on East Boulevard?
The front yard average setback
25,
on
they're in a
East
corner.
Boulevard, hold on, we got it.
Front yard average wouldn't even be applicable because you're on a corner.
The front yard average, where am I seeing that on here? Hold on.
I doubt you'll have it because it wouldn't have been calculated for this application because you're on a corner.
Yes, yeah, that's not, the building department denied it going from 25. I
Yes.
will say the previous house was 8.8. That original survey, the house was 8.8.
But I thought you built it in the same footprint as the non-conforming. I thought this
Well,
house...
the deck is what's triggering the additional variance.
No, but when we started, just so we understood historically the property situation, I thought you said that when they rebuilt in 2013, they elevated the house and rebuilt it on the footprint
Correct.
that was a subject of the prior non-conforming.
Correct, so if you add the depth of the deck itself is 6.6, and then we're asking 2 feet for the deck, that's 8.8. That's the original house was built the same exact footprint of.
Was
think
it built
maybe-
in the same location?
Correct. It was the same location, same size, it was a 1.5 story. So that's why that application, we didn't have to come before this board. We're having to come before this board now because they're looking to get a slightly larger deck and landing off the front, not the most minimal necessary.
yes. Just for clarification purposes, your plot plan shows in the middle of what could be what is the house, building permit 2001-02417. What is that reference?
Building permit, I'm not seeing that on my
Okay.
plot plan for
Dawn?
some reason.
Would you show her, please?
The 2001 would probably be, that sounds like that's referencing the non-conforming. Or maybe it's the architect's plot plan?
Well,
Let me
this should
see.
be demo house and storm, and then this is construct. That should be the 2013. I don't know if that's new or old.
Let me see that. Building permit 2000, oh, okay, no, so yes, so it should be the 2013 number on there. For some reason, I don't have that copy here. The 2013 is what should be referenced. So that number is, I will get that for you exactly.
So if we pull the file for the 2013, it will not, or will look like this.
Correct. 2013 16738 was the one-family dwelling due to Hurricane Sandy. No part of that application had needed a permit, and you could see on the search sheet that was closed out. There's been no changes to the property since then that, you know, in relation to the house, that has changed. This is the first change.
I understand that. The plot plan shows that 2001 permit. Is this, that's wrong?
Correct, because the non-conforming, I guess in a sense, it doesn't go away because we were given the 2013 permit based on the fact of the non-conforming, but it should have referenced the 2013.
It would have superseded this one.
Correct, yes, this 2013 does supersede that one. That's fine.
And I've also noticed that there have been several variances that have been granted for this case for a lot area occupied. When is it going to end?
Well, this is the last one.
I
got
think
because
this would be
it's
the
a full
last one,
property.
I don't think anything else.
Other than the driveway, this proposal basically takes the entire property.
I mean, I will say, I know it does seem extensive. It is very consistent in the neighborhood. I know I've personally been before the board for numerous homes in this area. This area kind of, in my opinion, relates to like East Atlantic Beach. You know,
But
with
it's
the
not.
size of the
Yeah.
well, with the size of the similarity and kind of the wave of what the neighborhoods became after Hurricane Sandy. And it is very consistent with the.
We looked at the Google Maps, and it just doesn't show setbacks, you know, on, corner properties accepted. It doesn't show setbacks of 3 feet, like you're proposing.
Well, directly next door to them, that house has a 2-story balcony, a first and second. So this house built back like in kind. Most of the other homes took advantage.
I want to correct the record. I said 3 feet. It's not 3 feet. It's 0.3.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Ms. Lespiza, I have a question.
Sure.
It appears that there was an application filed in the year 2020 to construct a second-story deck. Is that this one?
I believe that is this one, because this application started in 2020. Let me just get that number and I'll confirm
Listen,
it.
I know we're slow, but you sure for an
22, yes, because if you look on, I don't know if you have the architectural plans that were submitted. If not, I could stamp it. Those are the plans for this deck application, 2020-01156. So that's kind of why I had said earlier, I'm not sure what took them so long to reach out to me to push it through the variance process.
So
'cause
they
I
built
didn't-
it, it's already built.
No, it's not built. We're before you to build it. Those pictures that I submitted were just taken yesterday. It's just time, I don't know why they waited 4 years, you know, I didn't handle the permit filing, so I don't know what transpired and why the application sat dormant for so long, but we're finally here today before the board to hopefully move forward.
What is the percentage now without that front deck?
The front deck, so again, I don't know if I can grab my phone. It just doesn't break down the both of them, and I just assumed, because I'm used to them both being broken down.
The photographs we have?
I took the photographs, yes.
So there's one photograph of a house.
So the White House
Hold
is,
on. Apparently similarly situated. It's not white, it's beige. There's a white, and it seems to have something along the lines of what your applicant proposes, but it's not labeled. Can you tell me what intersection that is?
yes, that is, I believe, so that's about 2 blocks north. I believe it's another corner.
It is a corner, I can see that.
Yeah, I believe that one is the north side of Evans Street and East Boulevard. It's right on the road if you're traveling back towards,
And I'm just going to hold it up for you. It's part of Exhibit 5. Is this the house?
that's the house. And then the blue house is the house directly right next door to theirs, which.
Yeah, that one doesn't encroach like your proposal, though. I mean, it encroaches, but that doesn't appear to go all the way out almost to the street.
It's fairly close. It is fairly close. Again, it's not, you know, you still have the right of way a little bit. So the dimensions that were before the board for are within the property. We can't factor in the right of way for that. So for visibility purpose, you know, to the aesthetic eye, it won't appear 0.3 feet. But again, that's just for the steps itself. The deck structure is going to be proposed at the 2-foot setback.
Okay. Is there anything else you wish to add, Ms. Laspisa?
Not unless the board has any questions. Unless the board would like me to submit something in writing with those percentages, I can do that. Calculate that and get that to you if you'd like, what's current, like a breakdown.
Yes, I'd like to know what the current coverage is and what the proposed coverage. We know the
Yes.
proposed coverage is apparently 57.1, but if you could send us the current coverage so
I'll
we can
break it
understand the
down.
difference you propose, that would be
Okay.
helpful. All right, if there's no other further questions, nothing you wish to add, may I have a motion from the board, please?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar, pending your submission of that breakdown of percentages, subject to the board's review.
Do I have a second on the
I
motion?
second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Laspisa.
Next, we have cases 61024 through 61124. Woodmere, Hillel M. Tuckman. Variances, height, lot area occupied, front yard setback on Peninsula Boulevard, and rear yard setback. Construct a 2-story and 2nd-story addition, both attached to dwelling. Variances, front yard and side yard setback to maintain 2 AC units, both attached to dwelling, also known as 705 Peninsula Boulevard.
Sarah Ifra, 140 McGlen Place, Cedarhurst, New York, 11516.
Good morning. Okay, go ahead and proceed. Name, oh, you gave your name and address already. Go ahead and proceed.
All right, so I have a handout here. I have 3 letters of support. Sorry?
What did you hand up?
I've got it there.
I want to put it on
No,
the
but
record.
I have to admit it into evidence if we're going to accept it. So, yeah,
Oh, okay.
describe what it is you're,
Okay, so the handout is 2 elevation drawings in terms of renderings to represent what the house will look like. There are diagrams also explaining where we're adding to the house, what contributes to the height and what contributes to the coverage variances. And
do the elevations in the packet of materials differ from those that are in our file on the plans already?
no, they do not, except that they're hand-drawn and rendered so that you get a better feel versus just an elevation line drawing.
Okay, and who prepared these materials?
I did.
Okay, and they fairly and accurately represent what it is you propose and what they're supposed to represent?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take those into evidence. Go ahead.
The other items I've also submitted were 3 letters of support from the neighbors to the east of the property and the south of the property.
What are they again, signatures?
Yes.
Letters,
Letters
okay.
of support.
Did you collect those?
Yes.
Okay, and they fairly and accurately represent what they purport to? And you're representing to us that you know those to be the signatures of the people they purport to be?
Yes.
Okay, we'll accept those into evidence. And you can go ahead and, oh, one other question. Are you the expediter for the applicant, or are you somehow, how do you fit in this case?
So I am the designer of the proposal, and I'm representing the owner of the
Okay.
property. Yes.
Go ahead, proceed.
So on the first page of the handout that you've got there, I've just submitted basically a softer drawing of the ultimate, look of the house. The first drawing shows the peninsula side of the property. And if you turn the page, the second page there shows the Edward side. Both are considered front elevation, frontage for this proposal. So if we move on to drawing number 1, there I'm trying to represent the existing footprint of the house and then where we're doing additions. So if we look at the middle drawing where I say added area contributing to
drawing
coverage
talking-
variance.
wait.
Hold on,
Yeah.
they're not labeled, so tell us.
Are you talking about your renderings? Your
Yeah, so those are the first 2 where the
okay, just a
first
second.
one.
Wait. So this will call it page 1?
Hold
Yep.
on, let's just,
Okay. And this will be page 2?
Sure.
let's go that way.
And then I'm gonna,
All right, so now we're, just label them as we get through.
3,
Yep.
4,
Yep.
and 5.
And then later put 05 on, but not now. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so as I said, page 1 is the peninsula elevation, what it will look like in the end. Page 2 is the Edward elevation.
Edward is the street.
Yes, it's that side street. It's a corner property.
Yes, I realize that. It's just, it's not labeled here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Page,
So now we're on, you want to discuss page 3.
Now we're on to page 3.
Okay.
So on page 3, I've got a basement floor, a ground floor, and a second floor. They're simply line diagrams showing the footprint of what exists there today. So on the ground floor plan, there's a hatched area up at the corner left, and then there's a small hatched area down at the corner right. There's an existing bay window there currently. We're just changing the shape a little bit. I feel that the bay window adds to the front elevation, both in addressing the streetscape as well as adding interest to the overall design proposal. On the second floor,
Before you do that, can I just stop you for a second?
Yeah.
One of the main variances you're here for is a height variance.
yes,
And I'm looking at the plans, A9, the actual plans, and it shows the top of the roof to be at 30 feet. Now, if this was accurate, you wouldn't need a height variance, so help me out here.
As measured, though, from the crown center line of road, that's the top of the roof from 0. As measured, though, from the crown center line of road, we're actually at 32 foot, 3 inches.
Okay, that's not on the plans. The plans literally, first, let's start with,
Let me just
the
check.
plans don't show the crown at all, the elevations. Oh, here's another one, let me see if it shows it. Finished basement. Oh, now
Okay, if you
this
look at
one,
A6.
hold on, so elevations on A9 do not show, they literally only present 0 at the grade and 30 at the ridge. I'm not sure why that's
If you
like
look
that.
at the A6,
Hold on, let's go to 18. I'm going through the regular elevations, because even if we can find one, the plans that were on file have to be accurate. So let's just, because these are, I believe these to be the actual plans.
yes.
So hold on, yeah, I'll get to it. On A10, also shows the roof, the max ridge at 30. It does actually show the crown on this one as, looks like -5. Wait a minute, if the crown is lower than the grade and you measure from the crown, you get to go higher, right? No, because the grade is, but,
Let's look at
hold on.
A6, which is the
How
front
about
elevation.
how about I run it? Okay, so A10 still shows, it does show the crown at -5, it doesn't show, okay, that's those. Oh, wait, hold on. So now, which ones do you want me to look at?
A6, which is the front elevation.
Which elevation is this? It's not even labeled. I know, I'm getting these. So I just want to make sure that these, I don't know why we have two sets of elevations, but the rear elevation, okay, is A8. The side elevation is A9. Some unlabeled elevation is A10. Okay, and then we go, A1 is the site plan again, A2 is a floor plan, A3 is a floor plan, 4 is a floor plan, A5 is a roof plan. Then we get to A6, and A6 says FEMA on it. So if this is a FEMA case, the crown of the road is not relevant to our inquiry as to height. Is this a FEMA case? Is this
No.
are they in a FEMA zone?
No,
Who wrote FEMA on this?
I
Oh,
do not know.
Well, we'll cross-count.
I don't have that on mine.
Okay, so. Wait, now this one appears to show the crown at 848. Let
Exactly.
me just see if I misread the other one or if it's miswritten. It's very small, so it's possible I misread it, but let's just see. In the future, they gotta have the elevations on all the the numbers on all the. Does that look like 5 to you? That says 5.45, doesn't it?
Which one?
Crown. Oh, this is a mess.
It's shaded X.
Okay, so let me just get these, so now, A6 is a little easier to read, and it appears to say the crown is at 8.48.
Yes.
Do we know what the crown's at?
8.48.
All right, so we're gonna have to compare that. All right. So on A6, crown it.
No, it shows it at 32 foot 2.5 inches. Are you on A6? If you look at the right of the drawing, the height is shown.
Stephanie, just let the record reflect that the board received some guidance as to the plans, in particular on A6. The crown is cited as 8.48. That is an actual elevation number. However, the 00, that would normally be the grade, is slightly different than the grade. It's actually the finished first floor, so the structure is 30 feet above the finished first floor, not the grade. And then the representation of the same ridge is on the plans A6 as 32.5 from the crown. And the finished first floor is 10.7 elevation. So the numbers are different than we're used to using. And go ahead.
Okay. So since we're on the height, let's move to page 5 so that I can explain how the height is working in terms of the variance itself.
I'm sorry, which page did you say?
You labeled page 5.
On the
last
handout.
page. On the handouts. So if you look at the north elevation, which is the drawing on the left-hand side, our crown center line of road is 1 foot 8 beneath the actual grading around the house. The finished first floor is
Say
existing.
that again.
The crown
1.8.
center line of road of 8.48
The crown is 1.8,
is 1 foot 8 inches
or, oh, I thought you said 1.8. 1.8 inches, go ahead.
below the grade around our house. The overall height to the tallest ridge on that same drawing on the left-hand side of the page, but the right-hand side of the drawing, where it says 32 foot 2.5 inches, that is to the top of the ridge of the roof.
And
The
that,
red,
and that 32, just so we have it on the record, 2.5 inches is 32 2.5 inches from what point on the bottom?
from the crown center line of road of 8.48.
Okay, keep going.
And the red hatched area shows the portion of my roof that is at that number. The rest of the roof is lower than what the required or allowable roof height of 30 feet is. So when I ask for this variance, it's not asking for the entire roof, it's asking just for the portion that sits in that spot, just to be clear. Because I know sometimes variances, they deal with a number, which then people could have the assumption that it's the entire roof. It's actually just a small portion of the roof in the middle, and the gable there you can see on the right-hand drawing, a little sliver up on top there. So that was just to clarify where the height variance is being requested. So if we go back then to page number 4,
We have to,
this is referring to the yard variances. We have some existing conditions where there are air conditioning units, and those are being asked to be varied. As well, we have an existing wall of the house. On the right-hand side of that drawing, you can see a very small sliver of red. The house exists already within that setback. And then on the right-hand side of the drawing, where our addition is, the part hatched in red is going into that setback. We have letters of support from the neighbors both to the south as well as to the east.
okay, the portion, the larger red hatched area, is that when you have a corner property, there's a side yard and a rear yard, and often you get to designate which one.
Yep.
So the portion, is the larger one side yard or rear yard?
It is a rear yard.
In the portion of your request, looking at the document you're going from now, which is page 4 of your handout, the portion of your request to construct, so you have a request to construct a two-story and a second story. Which of the hatch marks is a two-story addition on your diagram?
May I approach so I can point it out to you?
You can just tell me.
Well, the green area
Okay.
is two-story, but there are no variances attached to it, and that's over the existing footprint in both
I'm more
cases.
interested in the two-story part that needs variances.
The two-story portion at the back where there's some red and some gray, that's 2 stories.
That's the only part that's outside the existing footprint.
Yes,
So that is rear yard and lot area occupied, I take it.
yes.
And is that a piece of the, that's not a piece, no portion of that is also the height part?
No portion, no. For the roof, you're saying, for the height variance?
That two-story addition doesn't go into that height variance section?
No.
So just so we get the numbers on in grid form, do you have the numbers here somewhere? Where's your hand? So for lot area occupied, you're allowed 27 and a half, and and you exist at 25.91. You're proposing 30.23, right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. For height, we went through that. For front yard, let's see, front yard. Your grid says on front yard,
We have 2 front yards.
right? Front yard on Peninsula, 25 required, existing is 27. You propose to bring it down to 24.42, is that right?
The way that they measured the existing, yes, but since we're adding that bay, we had to put 24.2, but the bay already exists there.
What's changing it from 27 to 24.2?
The way I was told to do the front yard setback.
Okay. And the other front yard on Edwards, required 25, existing 20.87 to the AC unit, proposed is 24.6 to the house, and to continue the 20.87 to the AC unit.
Exactly.
Okay. Side yard, 5-yard minimum. Existing is 3.71, that's to the existing AC unit. You propose 5.1 to the house, which would not be a variance, and to continue the 3.71 to the AC unit.
Exactly.
Oh. Okay, yeah. All right, so does that cover everything you wish to add?
And then we confirmed the height as well.
Yes, we went over the height
Okay.
situation. Okay, are there any other questions from the board? The height she proposes from the crown is 32, 2 and,
And a half.
a half, because that wouldn't be 32.25.
32 foot, 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5. That doesn't come out to the number, but, okay. Any other questions from the board?
I just have a question. Why can't you make the structure 30 feet like the code says? We frown upon going over 30 feet.
Right, I understand. Really, it was based on the pitch of the gable at the front. So if we look at page 1, we've got the gable here, keeping just an aesthetically pleasing pitch, which puts the roof at that height. But again, it's only in the center of the house. It's not for the entire roof. So in terms of, trying to create a bit of a more aesthetically pleasing elevation, I figured we would come here and we would ask for that because it is minor in nature. It's not covering the entire roof.
What is it, a 912? What is it, pitch?
It is a 12-14 or 14-12. I don't know which direction you say it here. But again, referring back to page 5 of the handout, you can see the red area is the area that variance is asking for. It's a very small portion.
I understand, but is there a way you could build this house and keep it at the 30 feet?
By changing the pitch of that gable, which affects the outside look, the rooms inside, and things like that. Is it possible? Yes. Is it as aesthetically pleasing? Not really.
That's what we try to do to keep the neighborhood.
No, I
the
understand.
same
I understand.
height. Thank you.
I have a question on your, what is this? Your north elevation that's on your handout sheet. It shows the red section, hatch red, at the very top. And in front of that, there's a gable with a tiny portion of the point into the red.
Yes.
Is that line right there existing?
No.
So that small little front doggy dormer-like gable, that doesn't exist already?
No.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. The board will review all the materials submitted and then make a decision, and you will be notified by mail of what that decision is.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you. You're all finished.
Next, we have case 61224, Baldwin, Catherine Gremsey. A variance to maintain senior residence, each separate dwelling area exceeding 800 square feet in total floor space, also known as 3293 Bayfront Drive.
Catherine Grams, 3293 Bayfront Drive, Baldwin, New York, 11510.
Good morning.
Morning.
You're here to maintain what was to maintain a senior residence.
Yes.
Did you just buy the house?
Yes,
Okay.
3 years ago.
And did the prior resident have a senior residence in it?
Yes.
Okay. Are you the owner of the house?
I'm the senior, yes.
Okay, go ahead and tell us about your case. The only reason you're here, by the way, senior residents are allowed in this area, but
Yes.
but you can't, but you're supposed to have under 800 square feet, which is seldom the case in this town. But, so you have to come before us for relief, so just tell us why you need this.
Well, the house was built prior, obviously, in 2011, I think it was, and the owner, for whatever reason, went to this direction. His mom and stepfather lived downstairs, so I guess that's the direction he went, was the senior residence. We bought the house in August of 2021, and my daughter and son-in-law and my 4-year-old grandson live upstairs. I live downstairs, and I was told that this is what needed to be done.
Yes, so in your case, you could have come for a mother-daughter, but that would limit you more than, in this case, if we grant this, then if your son and daughter-in-law move out at some point, you're entitled to rent it to a tenant, unlike a mother-daughter. So this is a more useful way for most people to go if they can comply with it.
Open permits.
No.
Good job.
Congratulations to the prior owner, actually, too.
Well, you brought it in the right.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other questions from anyone on the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on a decision calendar. The board will review the plans and notify you of its decision.
Second.
Second.
All in
Thank
favor?
you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have case 613 of 24, West Hempstead, Daniel Knoll and Alana Leah, variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, construct two-story addition, roofed over open porch and pergola, all attached to dwelling, also known as 356 Oakford Street.
Daniel Knoll, 356 Oakford Street, West Hempstead, New York, 11552.
Andrew Shear, 391 Garfield Avenue, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. Good morning. How are you, Madam Chair? Good. So we are here for a few variances: lot area occupied, side yard aggregate variances. We'll start with the lot area occupied. It's the Residence B zone, and we're allowed 27.5%, and we are at 28.5%, so a very minimal increase in the lot area. The side yard aggregate is not, side yard and side yard aggregate are not changing. We are adding an addition to the right side of the house that goes in line with the right side of the house, and that addition is just maintaining the existing side yard on both the right and the left side, and the aggregate is not changing from the existing. So whereas the side yard aggregate required now is 19 feet 4 inches, we have 16 foot 10 existing and proposed.
And on the side yards, if you gave the numbers, I
The
apologize.
side yard is 5 foot 6 and 11 foot 4,
Staying the same.
staying the same on both sides.
All right, so it's the lot area occupied is your main issue.
Right, the lot area occupied is going from 20, the allowed is 27.5, and we're at 28.5.
28,
28.5.
okay. You're at that, or you propose
We're
that?
proposing 28.5. That is all.
The hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Do I have a second?
I second.
You're
All in
welcome.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Shear. Thank you, sir. Nice day.
Next, we have case 615 of 24, Levittown, Mike Walther, variance, side yard aggregate, construct additions and second-story addition, all attached to dwelling, also known as 32 Spring Lane.
Case 615. My name is Ronald Villa, 29 Morse Lane, Levittown, New York.
Louder and clearer for her to take it down, please.
My name is Ronald Villa, 29 Morse Lane, Levittown, New York, 11756.
Thank you.
What is your relationship to the owner? Sorry.
Just neighbors.
Oh, are you here because you're interested in the case?
They said Mike Walter, I thought it was 615.
Okay, forget it.
I'm,
Go ahead and give your name and address.
my name is Paul Lombardo, I'm the architect. I'm representing Mr. Walter. My address is 3939 New York Avenue, Seaford, New York.
Okay, sir. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about the case? You want to
Okay, if
make
I-
an addition to the house, a one-story addition plus a second-story addition, and you need one variance, and that's a side yard aggregate.
That's correct. If I may share some documentation I have with the board.
Pardon me? Tell me what those are? Hold on. What, can you say for the record what those are?
Yes. I'm showing, I have 4 documents in total. 2 of them are the same. We have photographs of the front existing home, the way it is existing currently.
Who took the photographs?
I took the photographs.
Do they fairly and accurately represent what they purport to represent? They've not been altered in any
It
way?
has not been altered at
Okay.
all.
And the
Yes.
other 2 documents that you said are identical, are the same, what are they?
Those are the proposed front and side elevations.
And so they're drawings of the proposed front and side. And the 4th document, what's that?
It was just, it was 4 papers altogether. 2 are identical. So I
Okay.
have photographs and I have proposed elevations.
Side and, okay, we'll accept those into evidence. Do we have a copy, do you have more than one copy of those?
I have,
I just want to give this gentleman a copy to look at if we have it. All right. Those are the two documents, sir, that we've just accepted into evidence. A photograph taken by the architect of the existing structure and a drawing, a page that has two drawings of the proposed front and side elevation, okay? You can keep those. All right, let's go ahead.
Okay, so I represent Mr. Mike Walter. This is a variance for a side yard aggregate. Currently, the aggregate in the district, which is an LPRD district, is 15 is the minimum requirement. We're below that, so that's why we're at variance. However,
You
the
exist at below that, but your proposal goes over that?
proposal is at 12.71 foot, so we're underneath the minimum required.
No. The side yard aggregate in the LPRD that you're required to have is 15, right?
Right.
And you're telling us that your proposal, if approved, will change the side yard that you currently have to a 12.71. Is that correct?
Partially correct. We're not changing the side yard. It currently is non-conforming. So we're staying in line with the two sides of the house.
What's the current side yard aggregate?
The actual is, one is 5 foot, the other is 7.71.
Okay, so there's no change in this proposal to the side yard aggregate.
Right. So essentially, we're looking to do a second floor addition with some first floor additions. One out the front, one out the rear.
Okay, the front addition that you propose is within, it doesn't need relief from our board because you can continue to, even with it, to maintain the required front yard setback.
That is correct.
Okay, so now let's move to what I believe is, you're not on, are you on a corner?
No.
Okay, so your rear yard addition, right?
Yes.
Is the one that's changing your lot area occupied. Well, I guess your front is too. So your front addition and rear addition, those are the ones that are changing your lot area occupied, but not to a place where you need relief for that.
That is correct.
Okay, so now back to the side yard aggregate that you need relief for, which you're not changing your side yard aggregate, but because it's already under 15, any work on the structure will trigger a side yard aggregate request. So your work is mostly over the existing footprint, all the second story relief, is that all over the existing footprint?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a funny case. You really, the things that you're changing of the footprint don't trigger any relief, but the thing that you're not changing triggers relief even though it's within the footprint.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Let me say this. It's in an LPRD zone, Levittown Planned Residence District. As a garage attached to the dwelling, you need 12 feet. If you change the garage, convert the garage to living space, you now need 15. That wasn't.
We are not changing the use of the garage.
The garage is
Okay.
going to be a garage, but you're going above the garage, so that's changing it to the requirement of 15 feet.
So that's what's triggering that one?
Yes, even though you don't, the yards haven't changed, but the code has changed.
The code has changed.
So, okay, that's a good point, Mr. Pellegrini. So the garage in conjunction with the other side, those are a 12.71 aggregate. Now you're building, okay, so building over the garage. Okay, we got it. All right, is there anything else you wish to add?
Well, I just wanted to share the fact that my client is very intent on keeping the aesthetics very modest here. He lives in a home alone. He's an older gentleman. When I first met him, he wanted to do something to a Levitt home, but in a modest style. He wasn't, which was a little bit of a fresh air intake for me because it's normally the opposite. You know, we have someone who wants to add a lot of space, and at the same time, that creates a challenge to make it look
Keep it looking
lovely
relatively similar to what it does.
aesthetically pleasing. So aesthetics was very important to him in a modest way. So this is what we came up with for the site.
I'd like to hear from the other gentleman, and once he's finished, if there's something you wish to add, we'll give you the opportunity to do that,
Sure.
okay? All right, you got it, Christina.
Ronald Villa, live at 29 Morse Lane, Levittown, New York, 11756.
Is it him? Yes. All right, sir, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you would, so you had a chance to look at those documents. I hope they were helpful. And just to reiterate, so it's kind of an interesting case because the additions that are changing the footprint of the house, which are a little one on the front and a little addition, relatively small addition on the rear, those are as-of-right additions. They're not really triggering a variance here. The variance is being triggered by the second level that he wishes to add on, and I think only because of the portion of that that's over the garage. I think if he was not adding on top of the garage, I don't know that he would even need a variance at all. So when we consider this, what we'd like to know is predominantly is how that portion of the addition that he's seeking relief from us for, which is that portion that's over the garage, what you'd like to tell us about that.
That really wasn't concerning me. It does block all the light that does come into my yard, but I was concerned about the sunroom that he's building in the back. It's close to my the fence. That's the only concern I really had.
Okay, that's only a single-story addition, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, once that's constructed, if it were approved, it would maintain a 33, almost a 34-foot setback, which is well in excess of what's allowable. So even if we denied his request here now, he's allowed to build that as of right, just so you know.
Yeah, 'cause
But-
they're asking for a special variance clearance, so I was concerned what that was about also.
The clearance, so when you have a garage, because he wants to build above the garage, let me rephrase this.
I understand.
The second story he wants to put on his house, which is within the footprint of the existing house, is generating one variance, and it's called side yard aggregate. You're supposed to maintain at least 5 foot on each side of your house, and they're supposed to add up to 15. So if you have only 5 on one side, you need 10 on the other. If you can have 7 and 8, whatever. He right now, the house as it sits, has added together, has a 5 and a 7.71. So he has a 12.71 aggregate, where 15 is required. That exists right now with the house. Whenever you have a house that's already requiring a variance, if it were built today, and you want to add on to it, it triggers that variance again. So he wants to put a second floor within the footprint of his house, but because the house only has a 12.71 aggregate, it's triggering a variance. Sometimes it seems like it wouldn't need to be, because he's not changing the footprint of the house. So he was rejected for only that variance because he wants to put a second story on the existing footprint. So that was the triggering event. That sunroom in the back and that small bump out in the front don't require variances. He could get them without coming here.
Okay, that's what I was concerned about.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming in.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, that said, is there anything else you wish to add, sir?
No, I do not.
Okay, are there any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you'll be notified.
Both of you will receive a copy in the mail. Thank you both.
very
Have a
much.
nice
Have a good
day.
day.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, we have case 616 of 24 West Hempstead, Craig Resmovitis and Gabrielle Katz. Variances, front yard average setback, side yards aggregate, front yard encroachment, construct addition, 2-story additions, 2nd-story addition, and roofed over open porch, all attached to dwelling, also known as 681 Knollwood Drive. Mr. Shear, I have you sworn in from earlier. Please state your name and address for the record.
Actually, before you do that, Mr. Shear, I didn't realize the time. Okay, after this, we're going to take a 10 to 15-minute break for the court reporter to rest her hands, so she has blood flow back in them, and then we'll resume right after that. If anyone has anything they want to do for this case, plus 10 or 15 more minutes, feel free to do so. Go ahead, Mr. Shear.
Good morning again. Andrew Shear, 391 Garfield Avenue, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. I'm here representing the Resmovitz and Katz families looking to do an addition onto their house. that requires a few variances. The first variance is for front yard setback and encroachment. The front yard has a covered porch where we are allowed 19 feet, and we are currently at 19'5" to the house part of the vestibule, and 15 feet to the actual edge of the roof overhang.
That's what you're at now, or that's what you
That's what
propose?
we're proposing.
Oh, so, go ahead, Joe.
Sorry, the front yard, the variance in the front yard is actually going to be 15
15 to the top roof, right? Yes.
for the first.
For the first floor, just a, yes.
So the house maintains 19 still, but this bump out is going to cause the new...
The house is at 25, the main house is at 25.5. The vestibule, which is 6 by 11, 6 foot by 11, is at 19'5".
And then you go further into the front.
Into the front, right.
With a
Just
covered porch.
Just
with-
2 columns and a roof.
Yeah, but
for
that's,
that.
now it reduces it to
15 feet.
15
right.
feet.
Which is not uncommon in the area. I do have a few other houses, one directly across the street at 676 Knollwood. Our address is 681, so diagonally across the street, there is a similar house that just, that has that variance as well.
Right, but that's still within, because this is okay, if it's a 19 average.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
There's also a house on 607 Colonnade, which is the adjacent street right behind it, where there is a 15-foot BZA grant as well for the exact same situation. So.
Okay, you need side yard aggregate and...
Side yard aggregate, right. So we're, the side yard aggregate is 16 foot 6 inches. We're currently at 12 feet, and 12 feet at its smallest part, so that it keeps varying, but at 12 feet, and we're keeping it at 12 feet. We're not changing that at all.
That, I have 11 feet. It's 5 foot on the garage.
5 foot on the garage, 6 foot on the garage.
Yeah, oh, yeah, 6 foot, I'm sorry. And then the other corner is 5.
6 foot. Oh, yeah, sorry, 5
Yeah.
feet. But that's not where so that's not where they were taking the actual from, because that's not where the variance triggered.
But those are the smaller yards.
Yeah.
The two smaller yards, that's what they generally do.
Usually we do use the closest on.
Okay, so.
So that would be 11 instead of 12.
So it would be 11 instead of 12, yes.
And you're at 12 now, so it's about a 1 foot change.
We are,
Oh, no, if we determine that to be 11, you're at 11 now, and you propose 11 because it's unchanged.
it's unchanged. It would be unchanged, because it's currently 6 and 5. Yes,
Okay,
okay.
just want the
So-
record to be clear.
I'm sorry?
I just want the record to be clear.
Yeah, we had a whole issue of where we're taking the average setback because of the angle of the property started to move, so I'm not sure, maybe we settled on something different, so I'm not sure, I apologize.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah,
All right, is there anything else you wish to add, Mr. Scheer?
that is all.
All right, are there any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a
I don't
motion?
think you went through all of them. Did you go through all the variance requests?
Let's see. We talked about front yard, side yard aggregate. I mean, the side yard and side yard aggregate, so we discussed those. Front yard,
You really only had side yard aggregate, side yard, and front yard average.
right, lot area occupied, we're good on, height, we're good on. So,
All right, if there are no further questions, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on a decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Scheer?
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day. Folks, we'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes. Stephanie, you need 15? 10 to 15, we'll be back.
Still morning. We'll be sworn in a second, so we're going to be sworn first.
Next up, we have case 617 of 24 Point Lookout, Jamie G. Grust and Christine D. Gilly. Variances, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, construct addition with balcony and landing all attached to dwelling, also known as 103 Belmore Avenue.
I do. For the applicant, Thomas McKevitt, San Ward Braff Cascignano. The name did not change this time for the first time. 333 Earl Overton Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, 11553.
George Monasterio, architect, 59 Belmore Avenue, Point Lookout, New York.
Jamie Gross, resident.
Address.
103 Belmore Ave.
Good. Yes. Good morning, members of the board. This is a premises located at 103 Belmore Avenue, Point Lookout, also known as Section 61, Block Lot 9, Lot 37 on the land and tax map of Nassau County, located in the Residence B zone of the town of Hempstead. It is on the west side of Belmore Avenue, just south of Beach Street. This dwelling was constructed in 1929 with a minor addition in 1921. I've handed up photographs of the subject premises and the surrounding premise area, which I took personally 10 days ago for the board to take into evidence. Thank you. This lot is 70 feet wide by 60 feet deep, totaling 4,200 square feet. The current dwelling is 970 square feet with a 248 square foot garage for a total of 1,218 square feet and a lot coverage of 29%. The current front yard setback is 9 feet 4 inches, where 9 feet 7 inches is required. So we are 3 inches short on the front yard setback.
And that is what it exists, and you don't propose a change to that?
What we are doing is we're doing a minor addition which will go up to that front yard setback
Right, but
on
at
the
the
left-hand
end-
side.
But at the end, you're not changing the 9.4.
Correct. It's going to be exactly 9 foot 4 inches like it is today. The side yard on the south is 9 feet 6 inches and 1 foot 7 inches to the garage. On the north side, it is 19 feet 10 inches, and the rear yard is 16 feet 11 inches and a 1 foot 7 inches to the garage. There will be no change to either the side yards, to the side yard aggregate, to the rear yard, or the height. We're not seeking any variances in those whatsoever. The only variances we're seeking is for the front yard setback, for again, that one minor portion which we're going to bring into line with the current part of the house.
Right, but you're not changing it. So
Not
the
changing
only
the existing line.
thing you're changing is the lot area occupied.
Correct.
It's 29 now, and you want to go to 30.4.
Correct.
That's the only variance beside, and the front yard,
Yes.
but you're not changing, that you're here for today.
We are adding 60.8 square feet to the house. We're just simply rounding out the corners in the front and 2 in the back. And I know the board is saying to ourselves, how can you possibly make these additions in an AE 12 zone? I've also added to the board for consideration of the evidence a state variance grant, which was given on February 5th of this past year, which allows us to do those minor bump outs at the current grade and not have to raise them 14 feet up in the air.
Okay, we'll accept that into evidence,
Yes.
Mr. McKevitt.
That is in the file, it's applicant's exhibit 5.
Yes. It's been filed.
Just take the Woody's, you don't get this one anyway. Do you want, we have it in the file, but I'll accept that additional.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Is that your only one? You can keep it if it is.
We got plenty. We have plenty.
All right, is there anything else you wish to add, Mr. McKevitt?
Nothing else to add.
Are there any other questions from the board? If not, do we have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Have a nice day. You'll all get a copy when we do our decision.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have case 61824 Oceanside, Nicola Caporaso. Special exception to maintain shed higher and larger than permitted and exceeding horizontal maximum on both sides, also known as 57 Cheslin Court.
Lisa Koshia with Permits R Us, 338 Jericho Turnpike, number 396, Syosset, New York, 11791.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm here representing Mr. and Mrs. Caparasso at 57 Cheslin Court in Oceanside. They are proposing to maintain a shed. This property is located in a Residence B zone. The shed is 201.64 square feet, where the required is 144 square feet. It has a horizontal max of 14.2 feet on both sides, where the allowable is 12 feet, and the height is 10 feet, where the allowable is 9 feet. The shed has been there for over 15 years. My clients are under contract and are closing, the closing is set to take place in November. Mr. and Mrs. Caparasso respectfully request your approval.
Did you give me the larger number? The number on what the larger is?
Sure, the square footage?
Yeah.
The square footage currently is 201.64, where the required is 144.
Currently, and the proposal is to keep it like that, right?
Correct, yes.
Have you been to the site?
Yes,
And everything depicted on your site plan is true and accurate?
correct, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Must be, it's probably a right, an as of right. The maintain the second-story deck is not before us?
Second floor deck.
No.
I mean, second story, yeah, okay. Because it doesn't encroach on anything. All right. Any other questions from the board? Not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on a decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Kachir.
Thank you.
Next, we have case 61924, Seaford, Thomas O'Neill, variance side yard, maintain one AC unit attached to dwelling, also known as 2099 Paddock Road.
Good morning. Richard Bronchick, B-R-O-N-C-H-I-C-K, 87 Rhoda Avenue, North Babylon, New York, 11703.
Sir, do you think you're qualified to bring this very, very difficult case before this board?
Yeah. I hope
Okay,
so.
you're here on behalf of the applicant? Let's
I
see.
am.
And let me see, the other person I have signed in is the applicant, so go ahead.
That's me. I'm Richard Bronchick, yes. So, very
You're here
brief-
because you would like to maintain one air conditioning unit that apparently encroaches somewhat into the 5-yard required 5-foot side yard setback.
4.2 feet exactly.
4.2 feet instead of 5, and you need no other relief, sir.
That's correct.
Okay, is there anything else you wish to add?
No, ma'am.
Do I have any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you'll be notified.
Thank
Second?
you very
I
much. Have a
second.
great day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. Sorry you had to wait that long for that. Huh? Oh, he was? I didn't
Next, we have
know.
case
Isn't that funny?
62024, Franklin Square, Roy Ever Atahalupa, variances, lot area occupied, rear yard, construct second story with balcony and second story addition, both attached to dwelling, also known as 740 Willow Road. Just your name and address for the record.
My name is Edna Gilor, architect, 17 Ravine Road, Great Neck, New York, 11023, representing Mr. Roy Atahalpa and
Fabiola Manrique, I'm the owner's wife, 740 Willow Road.
Give me 1 second here. I have a number of people signed in on this matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the applicant present the applicant's case, and then I'm going to go through the people who've signed in the order in which they've signed in, and we'll let you all have a chance to speak. Okay, so I apologize. Who's Edna okay, Edna, or Miss Goyler?
Gilor.
Gilor, I apologize. And then you are Rabiolo Manrique?
Fabiola.
Oh, okay, F, not an R. Gotcha. Okay, go ahead, ladies.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, almost.
Oh, you're gonna have to speak closer to the mic and louder. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
If you folks want to come up and if you can hear better, come, please.
You can sit in this front pew over here, because when you do speak, you'll be speaking at the podium over here. So you're welcome to move yourself here if you like. Good
I'm
idea,
here
Mr.
to represent Mr. Roya Tohalpa and his wife Fabiola.
Okay.
And they have purchased the home about 6 months ago or so, and retained us to renovate the home and bring it up to what a home should be in our days. This house was bought built about 50 years ago and was not touched, nothing was done to it, so the kitchen was still the original one, the bathrooms were the original ones, and the family has 3 children, 4 children, I'm sorry, and their ages are 31, 26, 18, and 16. The 31 years old is married, but still comes to visit with children. The 26, 18, and 16 lives in the house. So I designed the house, taking out the master bedroom, which was on the first floor, and another bedroom that was on the first floor, moving them to the second floor, and added 2 more bedrooms for the children. By doing, and also creating a nicer foyer for the entrance. By doing so, I needed 2 variances. The first variance is a minor variance, which is the lot coverage area. And the existing lot coverage today, as the building exists, is 27.62%, which is already 2.62% higher than the permitted 25%.
Oh, are you in a Residence A zone?
We are in Resident A zone, yeah.
Residence A, so you're allowed 25.
Right. And we have existing 27.62. And we're proposing to move it to 27.86. So it's really very, very minor. And
Yes, I'd say it's the smallest one I've ever seen in almost 20 years here.
okay, and I really kept it to that so that hopefully I can get the second variance much faster. But I don't know how that will work out.
Wait a minute, may I just ask you? You have a 2-story addition proposed here in addition to the second story. Second-story addition being one that is above an existing first story, but a 2-story addition is an addition of both those levels, not above an
And
existing
that's
story.
that percentage, that's that
So how,
little area.
hold on, she can only hear one of us at a time. How do we only go up from 27.62 to 27.86? Literally less than, it might even be less than 1/4%, and we've still added a 2-story addition. Tell me what that 2-story
Okay.
addition is. Is that the roof stoop?
The current house does not have a second floor.
Right.
Did
I'm
not have
asking you
any.
about any portion of this application that is outside the footprint of the existing structure.
Okay, if you look at my drawing A1,
Hold on,
if you
pick it
look
up.
at drawing A1,
One moment, let me get those drawings out. Okay, go ahead.
on the left side of the garage, there
Yes.
is a small area, 1.5 times 4.7,
Hold on. The left side of the garage?
as you look at it on the drawing. And it's
garage is on
hatched
my
in a
right.
crisscross.
Hold on. In the drawing I'm looking at, the garage is on my right, so the left side of the garage, oh, you're suggesting this little
You
tiny...
see, proposed first and second floor addition?
Yes, it's 7 square feet.
All right, so that's the whole addition.
That's the
And we-
only portion of this proposal that is not on top of an existing structure.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense then. Go ahead and keep going.
And the reason we did it, to minimize anything beyond what the code permit, is to make the foyer a little more comfortable. It was very uncomfortable, and
Fine.
very tight.
That
All
is-
we needed is that little piece, and
Yes,
I
that
think-
is a de minimis request, if I've
Thank
ever
you.
seen one. So keep going for the rest of it.
Okay. The second part of the variance is we are looking to add, on top of the existing first floor, 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. The code requires that in the rear, we maintain 25 feet on the second floor and 15 on the first floor. What we are asking the board is to permit us to maintain the 15 on the second floor like we have on the first floor. And I'm going to present to you an exhibit. I'll show it on the board so we all can look at it, then I'll fold it and give it to you.
Hold on a
Google
second.
Map. Yeah.
File.
No,
Okay.
it's a Google Map.
Then what I'd
map.
like you to do is put it, is there a location you could put it where these folks can? Yeah, but I'd like, okay, I would like to, it's kind of difficult, but if these folks can see it, do you have another, wait, do you have another copy of that that's not on a board? No. Okay. It's most important to me for these folks to see it too. Not for just a second while you,
I believe they're our neighbor and they probably know very well the area, but basically you look at the house with the balloon, with the red balloon
Mm-hmm.
on top of it. This is 740 Willow Road.
okay,
And
let's
as you
do
can
this. Hold on.
tell,
Let's, of this problem. So we'll keep it like this. If you can't see it and wish to, you're welcome to get in position, stand up in the room, and then once she's done showing it to us, I will either have it brought over there or you guys can go over and look at it. I want you to be able to see it for as long as and as much as you wish to see it. Go ahead now.
Thank you. So, as you can see, the rest of the neighborhood is pretty flat and not very green, with tall, big trees. The houses to the north, to the, no, this is to the left. The houses to the left of 740 are both 2 stories.
To our right, to the right. As
To
you
the
look at
right,
front. Okay.
right. And the house to the left is 1 story. The house next to it is again 2 stories. Partial 2 stories. Behind 740, we can see tremendous amount of greenery, which helps mitigate the issue of adding another store right on top of the rear.
Is the rear of that, it's hard to tell from this view, I see the pitch of the roof. Is the rear of the house, after the roof pitches down, entirely 1 story with that cutout?
No, it returns in a gable. There is a
The part that
gable.
your pin's on right now, is that 1 story or 2?
That's 1 story, and that's 1 that's 1 story, and that's 1.5, a little
And now the
taller.
other side of that cutout in the rear, what's that?
Here,
1 or 2?
nothing. The house is an L shape.
Oh, it looks, from up
This-
here, it looks like part of the house. No, it's okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
Yeah, if you look at the plan, it's where the paved patio is.
And your proposal, just for clarification, is not to do anything in that paved area, right?
No.
Correct. Keep
I'm
going.
proposing to build on top of the existing first floor, a second floor. I'm proposing to add 16'9" addition, out of which 10 feet are not permitted. 6'9" out of it will be permitted, 10 feet are not permitted.
So yeah, I want to see that. Folks, I'm going to have, this is our official copy, so I'm going to need it back. But if you folks want to see the 4 elevations, which are the drawings showing what they propose and the way it looks, I'd like you can take them and look at them for a few minutes, and then we'll retrieve them from you, okay? You see they're labeled on the bottom, front, left side, right side, etc. Go ahead.
Also, to mitigate the addition on the second floor, we pitched the roof back and did not go with a straight gable, which would make the problem even bigger. So if you look
I
at
mean,
drawing
you
A3,
pitched it from the rear property line this
Pitching
way,
back.
toward the front property line.
Right.
As opposed to doing it the opposite way.
as opposed to doing it straight with a
Gable.
A-frame,
Yeah, I
with a
understand.
gable, we're pitching it back, so we're really mitigating the issue and making it a little bit more, let's say, acceptable. We also ready, if the board will require, lower the eave at that area by a foot, if the board would like to give like a condition on that. Because what we did in the rear, you can see the design, we have a bathroom and closets. And that area could be concatenated and made a little bit lower in the height. Doesn't have to be 8 feet.
Okay, here's
So,
what I'm going to do. When you're done describing this, which I think we now pretty much understand your proposal, I think it makes more sense for us to let you say all the things that you want to say in terms of description now. Let me hear from these folks, and then either as they go along or once they're all finished, we'll have you probably as they go along, if they have questions about the proposal, then I will let you have ample time to, that way what we're hearing from you, when we hear from you, are the issues that were brought up. We like to hear what we think are issues, but we also like to hear what the people who are interested like to hear. So I'm not trying to rush you. Go ahead.
I believe this is my presentation.
For the time
I
being.
think these are the two issues. I think they're very
Okay.
clear, and I'm ready to.
Okay. So, yeah, Patrick, let's hear from that. So we're gonna hear from those of you who came down as interested parties who want to tell us other things about the application that we may not know. Patrick, you didn't swear them in yet, right? Yeah, I think Patrick will just swear you all in, and then I'll call you in the order in which you signed in. Okay, so my first person interested who swore in, Elaine DeFranco. State your name and address for the record so the court reporter puts it down.
My name is Elaine DeFranco. I live at 746 Willow Road, next
Dawn,
door to the house that...
you can bend that down to where you can speak into it. There we go. We want to hear what you have to say.
Is that okay now?
Yeah, just try to speak loudly.
Should I start all over? No. Okay. Right now, the house is being rented,
Okay?
okay? Not to just one family, but individuals.
Hold on. Not
And,
just to one family. Hold on. You said the house is being rented, and
Yes.
you said not just to one family, but what?
But to individuals. Okay,
You
wants to
mean-
state that.
Not even a two-family, just individuals.
Yeah, there's like one person in charge, I think, and then there's other people
Okay?
coming and going. Now, other homeowners have emailed you with their opposition. My opposition is I don't want a large house next to me. The house next to me, to the north, no, to the west, is not a two-story house like you said. It's a one-family house, just like mine, just like the one that you bought.
Wait, what? You said one family. You meant one story, right?
One-story house.
And one family,
And next to that is a cape. And in back of that is a ranch, one story. In back of that is another ranch. Okay? There are many ranches that are in the neighborhood. Yes, there are larger houses. This particular house that they want to build, to me, it looks like it should be in Queens or in Brooklyn. It doesn't go with the contour of the neighborhood. My husband and I installed a fence for privacy a while ago. We will no longer have privacy in our backyard if this big house is built. And that, to me, is important.
Understood.
The sun will not be shining on the east side of my house. That means the kitchen would be dark, and the entrance that we have would be dark also. With 5 bedrooms in the house, the parking will be horrendous. Let me see what else. I'm also afraid with the basement, if they do intend on living in the house, they may be renting the house, the basement. Right now, there is an entrance to go to the basement from the side, from the east side of the house. So I'm against this house being built.
Understood. Thank you very much. Next, we have, sorry, I lost my sign-in sheet. Next, we have Gina Moneta. Okay, so, and Gianna gave that to you, and you know it to be her writing. Okay, we'll accept that into evidence. The next person we have, we'll read it. Yeah, go ahead and give it, after you mark it, give it to, we can, okay. You know what I was gonna do is give them some of these also. Matter of fact, I should give them now. Where are they? What'd you say? Okay. Give these to this group. I'm gonna hand you some of the complaint letters that we got by way of email, so you can scan through. Oh wait, Dawn, come back for 1 second. I don't need you to address every remark made, but maybe if you read through them, you can get, I haven't had a chance to read through those yet. We all do read every one of them. But maybe if you can get a general sense of what the issues that people are raising, that way you'll be prepared to address them when you have a chance to speak again. Next up to bat is Thomas Keys. Hold on. Kosior? How do you say it?
Said it correctly, ma'am.
Oh, well, ding, 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 ding. Okay. Name and address, thank you. For the record, you can tip the mic up if it's easier for you since you're very, very tall.
Thomas Cozier Jr., 751 Willow Road, Franklin Square, New York, 11010.
Okay, sir, tell us what you have to, what you want us to know about this.
I'm just want to make sure the factor of everything is in code of what they're applying for, but I feel the integrity of Franklin Square, all the houses surrounding it are all one-story houses, and coming into this, I just want to make sure that it's in code or in proper procedure.
So, yeah, let me tell you where they're asking to deviate from the otherwise requirements. They need a lot area occupied. In this area, you're allowed to occupy, meaning you can figure out what that means, right? 27.5% of the lot area. They are proposing to occupy, I believe, 27.62. So it is somewhat de minimis. They want to, I don't know how many square foot that would come out to be, but it's, oh, I do know. It's a tiny little piece right next to the front door, like 4 feet by 1 foot or something like that. That's the first item of relief they seek. The other relief they seek is that the rear yard on the first level is supposed to be you're supposed to have a rear yard setback of at least 15 feet for a first story, and then 25 feet for the second story. They seek 15 for both. So they want the second level to be able to go as far back as, now they did, as she testified earlier, they did pitch the roof that way, so it won't be at 25. If we let them go out to 15, it probably will only be the very bottom of that second level, because they pitched there, so it won't, you understand, so it's on an angle. But those are the two pieces of relief that they would need to construct the structure make the additions they propose to the structure. And if you need to look at any of the materials again, you're welcome to do so. So that's where they seek to deviate from the otherwise requirements of the code.
And why there's such a big house coming into this neighborhood? Are they gonna be living in it, or eventually the basement is gonna be a multi-family home?
Okay. Number one, is there a basement in this house? There is, isn't there?
There is a basement in this house.
Okay.
But there is,
We'll get to that.
there is an outside entrance, and now there's gonna be an outside entrance.
Okay, we're gonna get to that. You said that that the proposal on the second level is to put 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, correct? How many square?
The plan says 5.
Pardon me?
The plan blueprints that we got say 5 bedrooms.
Okay, I'll look at that. What is the amount of square footage you're adding to the second level? Do you know the square footage you're adding? Because it's not all usable, right, because you have the pitch. I want to see. Tap it.
I would say that it's very close to the first floor, except for the area where I have a balcony in the front, which is about 70 square feet. So if the first floor is 1755, I'm about 1,700 on the second floor.
Okay, let me ask you this. You've been to the house, right?
Excuse me?
Have you
Yes,
been
I've been to the house, yeah.
Have you been into the basement?
Yes.
What's in the basement?
It's now finished basement with wall panels.
Hold on.
And a full...
Full bathroom?
Bathroom that's in a horrible condition. I have pictures I can show you. So the bathroom had been really disgusting. And I'm renovating it pretty much in the same location that it is.
How many, you said there are walls in the basement? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
they're
finished.
paneled, it's a paneled.
No, how many rooms?
No, it's one open room, and we're keeping it as one open room.
And is that bathroom that's there already permitted? Does it already have a permit?
There is a bathroom there. I don't know if it's permitted or not, but there is a bathroom.
Is there any kitchen down there?
No.
Is there any evidence, how long's your client owned the house?
How long what?
How long has she owned the house?
6 months?
Is there evidence that there ever was a kitchen down there? You know what that looks like.
Not that I could tell. It was a pretty rundown area. Nobody went there.
Who lives in the house now?
So what happened is when we decided to go to a variance and they couldn't start construction, obviously the burden of the mortgage was high, so they rented the house. And I think Fabiola can tell us who exactly is renting. I think it's a family that's renting, but
Hold on, let's have her speak to this issue. So, a family of how many people? Can you check her mic? Hold on, I want to make sure. It's not only that we have to hear you, the court reporter has to hear it so she can get it down accurately.
It's only 5 people living there.
Are those 5 people one
Yeah.
family?
Yes, only one family. It's a wife, husband, and 3 kids.
Are the kids grown or kids? Are they under
No,
18?
they young kids.
Okay, so, and they live in the first floor, there's no second floor. Is there an attic up there right now?
not usable.
Okay, do you know how many cars they have?
2.
Okay, and if you were to get this application granted, if we were to grant the relief you request,
Absolutely not.
hold on, who would live in the house?
Who's gonna live in the house?
If you get this, if we grant your application and the construction is done,
Yeah, you know, my family, my husband, my husband, I, and my 3 kids. And I have my, you know, my older daughter. She's married, she lives in Egypt, but she's planning to move next year.
Okay, so you and your husband have 3 younger children right now,
Yes.
and your intent would be that you 5 live there, and then at some point, maybe your daughter would live with you. Your
No, not
entire.
necessarily live with her, but
Hold on.
visit, so we need a guest room.
But there's nothing that precludes you from letting your daughter, her husband, and her child live with you. The issue becomes, when houses have problems, it's because you put a 2-family house is mostly defined as having another kitchen in it. Now, that being said, even if you don't have a second kitchen, you're not allowed to have, you know, a rooming house or doors with locks on them. Just hear me out. So that's the only reason I was asking about that. And how many cars do you and your husband have? 2?
2.
Okay, do you have enough parking for 2 cars off the street?
Yes.
Okay, and how many doors are there to the house right now? There's an exterior entrance to the basement?
No. There is no exterior entrance to the basement
No.
now, and we needed another mean of egress.
Hold on. Let me just check the elevations. Okay, I see on the plans that are proposed, there's an exterior entrance on the right elevation.
Proposed.
I understand. Is that entrance there currently?
No.
Okay. On the left side of the elevation, there's a egress window proposed on this plan. Is there an entrance to the cellar right now where that egress window is proposed?
No.
I have the front entrance and I have a rear, so on the front you have 1 entrance proposed. Is that what's there now, 1 entrance?
To the basement, there's...
No. Is there just 1 door on the front?
There's 2 doors. On the front, 1 door.
It might be 2, but it's 1 entrance.
No, it's 1 door. I thought you said how many entrances. There's
Okay.
an entrance to the backyard and there's an entrance to the front.
On the rear elevation of the proposal, there is a slider of sorts, French doors or slider.
To
Is
the
that
back.
what's there now?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the first floor, the entrances that are there, albeit to the first level, are there now. There's no proposed change. Except that you propose to add on the right side a cellar entrance.
Right.
And why do we need the cellar entrance there?
Well, we need an egress. The window on the left is not an egress. You call it an egress. It's a window well that's next to the stairs.
I thought it was labeled as such on the
No,
plan.
no, it's not. It's just that I wanted to put light into the stair shaft. So the stairs come down, and there is a window there on the side. If you look at the left side elevation, there is a very strong element that divides the house and go up and down all windows.
Right,
That's what the well is for. It's like a little well. It's not anything deep. It's like 2 feet.
So just enough to pour a footing to put in an entrance there.
No,
That-
no. If you look,
I'm joking. Okay.
if you look at my drawing, if you look at
I
the
am.
drawing, it's like a 2 feet wall on the side, and it's not for an entrance. And if you want us to raise the window and not have it there to make sure that we're not, we will do that. That's not the
Okay.
intention.
So-
The intention is to get light into that area.
Okay, so on that side, that window well is next to the staircase that goes second floor, first floor cellar. Okay, and you would be okay, you and your client would be okay if we were to look on this application favorably, that we put a condition that there can never be an exterior door on that side. You have already the exterior proposal on the other side anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, and as far as you know, applicant, there is no one spending any amount of time sleeping in that house, I don't mean an occasional guest, but basically living there other than this family of 5. Okay, let me go back and listen to whatever else this gentleman would like to tell us.
My question that you were bringing up, we're talking about the stairs on the other side of the house.
Okay.
And they have a window on that side of the house, and she's saying for light.
Yeah, that's the side we were just talking about.
How big is that window?
And
If it's like an egress window where it's for,
But what it's on here, actually, I did misread it earlier. I thought it said egress window because we have a lot of those. It really does say window well. I think she's testified it's 2 feet deep because that's the side where the staircase goes from the second floor to the first floor to the basement, and that window seems to be proposed to be from grade down a foot or two to give, and it would stop, you mean from a foot or two, and how high up? Let me see if I can tell from the elevation.
What I'd also like to do, beside understanding the size of the window, I want you to understand there was a small window toward the backyard that I closed because I wanted the patio to be larger. So the really only source of light to this big cellar is those stairs. The stair shaft coming down will bring light into that. It was my idea. It's a design element in here.
Okay, so to answer you, sir, I've now looked back at the elevations, and again, you know how I said that it's proposed the staircase goes like this from first. That whole staircase is proposed to be, with the exception of what's probably a header, basically a big, almost like a set of windows like you'd see in a church or something, letting light in. They've agreed, if we were inclined to approve this, and I have no idea because obviously we're a body and we have to deliberate, that if that were approved in this fashion, there would be a condition that at no time in the future may they install a door there.
have a door be installed on the other side of it.
Well, there's not a staircase proposed
Which
inside.
would bring light into the basement anyway.
But the
From that
reason,
side, but on the side that they're talking about with this big, the neighboring house is gonna be blocking any sort of sun that's gonna go into that window. So it's like a waste. It's the way that they have it set up, where the stairs going up to the second floor, to the main floor, to the basement, is like an apartment building. And that,
you're correct.
what
The other side,
what would be the purpose of that? What's the purpose? The purpose is eventually they're gonna have somebody.
I would like to answer that.
She just said her. I'm sorry. She said recently that the owner said that her daughter is in Egypt, or living in Egypt. She's 31 years old. And she has a family, and her intentions are to come live at the house on 7th.
will be moving back, maybe in a year. She didn't say the daughter would live there, but in fairness, if her daughter did move in and they never put another kitchen, that's not a violation of the zoning. So keep going.
But the way the plans are, and the way that what she just said of it, that her daughter is coming back to wherever she's going to live, but she's still setting up the plan to, looks like the plan to have somebody living in the basement. Which would be a multifamily dwelling.
The basement, even if they're allowed to keep the bathroom in the basement and this plan were approved, there would be a condition that there be no occupancy in the basement, no sleeping there. It's not to say they couldn't have a rec room or something. If she wants her daughter to live with her, that's really not an issue unless they add a kitchen, for the most part. I don't disagree with you about the side entrance, which it does appear to be designed almost solely to go to the basement as a separate basement entrance. But, you know, and we'll deliberate about that basement entrance because on the other side, as we've just discussed, there is a stairway to go to the basement. So I don't disagree with you that it doesn't seem that it seems a bit unnecessary. And even if she didn't do anything wrong, when the house gets sold, and I've been on this board for almost 20 years, and we've done this the whole time. I've seen people come back to either request or illegally, either one, make two families out of single families. So we are somewhat good about figuring out things that, even if the applicant's not going to misuse them, really are just prime for misuse at a future date by someone else if she were to sell the house. And I think there was one other thing you mentioned. So does that cellar entrance you propose, I see it going to the cellar. I don't see a way to enter the first floor from that. That's solely a cellar entrance, correct? Okay, so.
Well, there is an entrance on that side now. Like Are they gonna be taking that away?
Hold on, hold on. Did you say there was a cellar entrance already from the exterior? I thought you said there wasn't.
There's a window there.
So there is no,
There's a small window.
there's no door on the outside of the house right now that one can go through to go down to the cellar.
Yes, there is. That's, what you're saying is correct. On the side of the house right now, the way it sits, there's a side entrance to the house. When you walk into that side entrance to the house, you have the option to go down the stairs or into the main house.
Is that the case?
I have a video, I can look at it. I don't remember that. I remember there is a window there. It's like 6 months since I've been there.
Hold on.
There is
We're
a
talking
window.
about the east side of the house, right?
Okay, let's hold on one second. So the east side of the house, I don't think my elevations have east side on them. Let me see if they're east or left. Okay, is the east, if I'm staring at the front of the house, are you talking about the left side or the right side?
No, I have some
Hold
pictures
on, hold
here.
on.
You're looking at the front of the house, right side.
The right side. So is that the way this is designed? Rear, front, left, front. I'm having a hard time telling which one. As this is written, but is that the one he means? Okay. So you say that the existing cellar entrance, wait, so you say the door isn't to the cellar necessarily, it's to the first floor, but once inside, there's a staircase. Is that the case? That's different from what I
Okay,
first asked.
I relocate, okay, I understand the question. There is a door on the side into the kitchen, and there is a stair leading to the basement, but we wanted to remove the stair to make the kitchen larger. So we closed the door to the kitchen, and we closed the stairs to the basement from where the kitchen is now.
Is that
And we moved it to the other side of the house. So
Okay,
now,
so the side of the house where there is currently what you've just described, okay, because I don't have east, is that the side you propose the future cellar entrance on, or is that the other side with the full staircase? Which side right now has a door that goes in and then a downstairs stair?
on the right side of the house.
Is the side he's talking about the same side where you want the
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, you just told me that you know which side, hold on. The
There's-
side that you currently have where you can walk into the kitchen and go down some stairs. Okay, what side do you call that of the house?
The right side,
Okay.
behind the garage.
Okay, so is that the side that you propose to have a cellar entrance, or is that the side that you propose to have the whole house staircase?
The cellar entrance.
So where you currently have what he was describing is the same side that you propose the cellar entrance, only you just can't go into the house, you can only go to the cellar.
That's right.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just trying to follow all this.
And one more, the question of, we're on the same side of the right house, where on the new plans, it has a window, which would be on the side of the garage, which is showing signs that they're obviously gonna be arranged where they're gonna have some sort of a living space in the garage, no?
You mean they want to put a window on the side, on,
This is the garage out front here. This is the right side where they want to put the new entrance to the cellar.
correct. And you're
There's-
saying they
and
also,
This window over here looks like it's in the garage.
do you propose, which, there's no crime in that. Do you propose a window on the garage?
Yes, I do, because I don't like large expanses of walls that don't have a window in them.
Understood, okay. We do have a lot of garage windows, so I understand what you're
No,
saying.
I'm just saying, that the way these plans, it looks like they're futuring building possibility of making a multi-family home.
Understood.
And on the other side of the house, let's go back to the new stairway, that you're saying there's gonna be a spiral staircase going down 3 levels.
Not spiral, it just,
Is that a safety concern?
no, I just said it
It's
goes
called
like
the
this.
Caesar
But
stair.
it's not spiral. But I just want to say one thing to those of you who are here who are concerned about a two-family use in the future, who feel like they're seeing a lot of people going in there who are not part of this 5-person family. The primary way that we get notified and/or the building department, if someone is using a property in a way they're not supposed to, is by neighbors calling. That's really how we learn a lot, and the building department. So if in fact it is now or in the future misused, and if we are inclined to grant this, it will have conditions that include one family, no door on that other side. We may or may not, once the whole board here is here, we'll probably wait for the chairman to decide this case so we have a full contingent. But we may or may not be inclined to grant a cellar entrance. And we may,
Well, since you're on the cellar entrance, not to cut you off or anything like that, ma'am, the cellar entrance, the distance between the two houses on the right side, if you put a cellar entrance, which is going to probably be about 30 inches wide for a stairwell to go down, you're going to be on the property line of the next house. Is there like any sort of
okay,
variance for that?
let's address that. If that were the case, it would be even better because they would have to come back for relief. Right now, the plans show the proposed cellar entrance 4.2 feet wide, which is not inconsistent, but they show it set back even at that width, right, which is 50 inches. They still show it set back from the property line at 6 feet 7 inches, which means they don't need relief for that cellar entrance right now. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't think that's the right numbers.
But again, if it is the case that people are using something as a boarding house or a multifamily, it's kind of up to the neighbors, myself included in my neighborhood, to make people aware. Okay, keep going. Let's hear what else you need.
The parking concern, you're saying that she's going to come in with a family of 5. Well, eventually, she has young kids, and the kids are going to eventually grow up.
As
They have
every
cars,
family has.
Right, but they don't have adequate parking in front of the house.
How many
The driveway probably can only hold 1 car, and then they have maybe 2 cars in front of the house, but there's a fire hydrant also near the house, which would hinder their parking because they can't park.
Yeah,
on top of the fire
unfortunately, other than...
No, I'm just saying, she was
No,
saying
but
that-
let me explain.
I'm sorry.
So we do, if we're letting someone enlarge a house, we do consider, correctly or incorrectly, sometimes how many people, the reason I asked about the parking previously is because people made mention of a lot of people living there. So that's why I asked how many cars the renter has. She said 2, and that's why I inquired about that. In general, even if someone came in and needed if someone went to the building department needed no variances, was building a house, and they got enough teenagers, they got 7 cars, I'm not sure that they could deny them the right to do that anyway if they didn't need relief. And, I was just asking because of some of the complaints made previously. And like everyone in the town, just like I have a right to put my cars on the street if I need to, and I know you get that. It's really not something other than inquiring as to whether or not the house is being misused. That was mostly why I brought up asking about the cars.
Well, to answer your question about the renters, they don't have 2 cars. They have 4 cars, and they have 1 car that's in the street right now on jacks, and it looks ghetto.
Well, I'm
And
not...
they put 2 cars, and they have 2 cars on the driveway.
Hold on.
Coming, blocking the sidewalk. So there's probably about 4 or 5 cars in the house.
Hold on. Ms. Pellegrini, is it the case that you're not allowed to have a car on Jackson Street?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Not even allowed to
a
work on
call
it.
right to the building department. Or, would it be the building department or highways?
Yeah.
You call highways, that's not acceptable. Yeah, whichever, it's not acceptable, you shouldn't have to live with that.
They have no plates on the cars also.
Also not acceptable. I think even in the driveway, you have to have plates, don't you?
And then that's it.
Okay.
I said my piece.
All right, thank you, we'll take into consideration. Next one, give me 1 second. No, but I need to hear, I apologize, folks, I'm a mess. Oh, no, Ms. Pellegrini stole it. Next person up to bat is Geraldine, and I'm sorry, it starts with M, but I can't. Geraldine Mafia? Oh, that's why you blurred it so no one would read it out loud? Believe me, sometimes I spell my name at the pharmacy, so I don't say it. Okay, Miss Mafia. Let's hear what you have to say.
I live at 722 Willow Road, Franklin Square, New York 11010. I'm approximately 3 or 4 houses down from this building.
Closer, please.
Down from this dwelling? And what?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about 3 or 4 houses, we live about 3 or 4 houses down from this dwelling. Just to bear with me, there is an entrance. All of our houses that were ranch houses that have put second levels on, we all have access to the basement on the right side of the house. Every
Like
house.
there,
And we have access to the garage and the door inside the garage to get down to the basement. So the
Okay.
door inside the garage gets you into the main level, or you can take it and go down the basement.
Okay?
Okay, so I don't understand what they're saying, because there is access, and that can be rented. How many families are gonna live there? That's my question.
One is proposed, and she can't have, well, let me rephrase, not to beat a dead horse. If her daughter, husband, and child want to move in, they can, as long as they don't add a kitchen. And as long as it stays looking like a single-family residence.
I understand that, but right now, there are people renting the basement, the first floor. There are more than 3 children, and there's a baby. I don't know where the baby lives. The home is not kept to the community standards. It really does look like, excuse the expression, a house that's a ghetto house right now. They don't mow the lawn. Cats run wildly, which I know that they're animals that have freedom, but they let them out. They come by our homes, almost into our homes.
You mean the residents have named the
Renters,
dogs?
The renters.
Dogs?
Cats.
Cats that run free and,
Five cats that run rampant through the neighborhood, through our properties. It's just not a rentable situation that is in line with the way we as residents and community
okay.
live.
Excuse me. So it's now becoming more clear to me, part of the problem is, number one, they're seeing so many people come and go that it doesn't look like it's being used as a single-family residence. In addition, between the cars on Jack's, which I think I understand him to say belong to renters, no license plates, and the other, whatever else is going on there in terms of not upkeep, that's a real problem. And I don't want to have to send the building department out, but we will. If you can't get it cleaned up, there shouldn't be trash. The lawn should be mowed. There shouldn't be cars on Jacks. And, so one thing I will say to you, regardless, we're gonna, hold on. We're gonna put this case on reserve anyway, so that the board members have a chance to come out and inspect it. But regardless, it's important that you get that place cleaned up. And if there are people, even, I don't know, maybe you're renters and you don't know it, are renting to other people, you gotta get your house in order, pun intended, okay? Because that, when? You mean wait, hold on. Hold on. No, please. Please, sir, don't. Okay, so we are now near the end of September. Are they living there through October and November? They're leaving at the end of November. Did they give you notice, or did you give them notice? You told them they need to be out by the end of, okay. So I'm gonna rely on you making that happen if that's but we can't wait till they're out to clean up the outside. I'm not asking you to spend a pile of money, but get the cars that don't belong there out of there, and get it cleaned up so these people don't have to look, because I don't blame. Half of them might not even be here causing you a problem if they weren't living in conditions that are not acceptable and unfair. Okay, keep going.
There's a toilet bowl in the bushes in the front, and there's a stove on the side of the house.
Oh, so there's where, that's
Okay.
why the basement bathroom's in disrepair, and that's where the kitchen went that was in the basement. But we got the point. That needs to be cleaned up. Okay, keep going.
I know it's legal. The marijuana situation throughout New York is legal. but it is done outside, and it impinges on all of our
The
activities
smoking of it or the growing of it?
They're smoking it.
Okay, because I'm not sure what the growing rules are, but I don't think you can just make a marijuana farm in your backyard. Okay, so the renters are smoking marijuana in close proximity to your homes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you get them to deal, okay. Can you tell your renters, no smoking on your premises, marijuana? They can go to their friend's house and smoke it.
Is that something she's
Yeah,
permitted
she said
to
they are
do?
constantly smelling it. They're outside smoking marijuana. Just tell them
Okay,
that you don't allow smoking marijuana on your premises.
I want to make a comment that my client is very stressed now. She's extremely stressed. She
You don't
did
have to
not
be stressed
expect-
because these
No,
are all
let-
problems
let
you
me
can
just-
solve.
Let me just say it, because, I am extremely upset too, because what we find out and what we hear here is nothing we would like to know. I know this family for 20 years. Her husband is an electrician, and we've been working with them for many, many years.
Right.
And
Hold on, listen.
I know the family. I know the family, and I will tell you, it was one of our ideas in the brainstorming how to overcome the burden of the time needed for this board to meet and
I
to
understand.
listen and to
So she
and
rented
not
it-
to have a financial burden. So if you saw their house, it's impeccable, it's beautiful, it's well-groomed. I think that the house that we designed here is going to elevate the neighborhood, not degrade the neighborhood. We're going to make it much nicer.
Okay, let me
And
just
I
say.
have other things to answer to things that were said before.
I'm going to give you that
but-
chance, but I just want to say two things. You don't have to be stressed about this because they're all things that you can solve. So it's not a big deal. You just know now what you needed to know, you can solve it. Secondly, I understand. Okay. All right. Okay, but you can solve the problem, okay? You can solve it, you can get the yard cleaned up, you can get this condition, they can't smoke weed in there, and all the rest of it. Another thing is, before I forget, I'd like to ask you, if we are inclined to approve this application, what we usually like to do is I'd like to make it owner occupied, or at least I'd like to discuss with my board if we should make it owner occupied. Since you've said you're going to live there anyway, would you accept a condition that the house needs to be occupied by the owner of the house?
I don't think you can tell her, and I don't think she can say yes, I'm sorry.
She can say yes to whatever she wants.
Yeah, but she has a husband involved, there's economical issues involved. I don't think you can make this a condition and take her answer as a legal, I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
But I would be very leery about
Okay.
putting a condition that you don't know the financial situation tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
We don't know what the rates are going to be. We don't know what's our money next week. So I would like not to say, yes, I'm going to be owner as a condition, because then, listen, for me it's good because I'll have to come back in front of the board. But
What would you have to come back in front of the board for?
to alleviate the condition,
Well, why? Because she might sell it?
right?
But if you sell it, the new owner lives in it.
Well, but she
You see what
cannot
I'm saying?
sell with a condition.
We'll see, but I got
Okay,
the
would
answer
just-
that I
Also
understand.
smoking pot in the yard, walk in Manhattan, wake up.
Hold on a second.
Everybody smokes pot.
Okay, yes, that is absolutely true. But she's here asking to do things that are not in accordance with the zoning requirements. So, and.
Listen, I'm very much against
Hold
pot.
on.
I wish
Hold
nobody
on.
smoked it, but
Listen to me. You can tell me all day long people smoke pot everywhere. She's got renters there right now, and she's asking for relief from this board for a house that apparently is a real problem for the neighborhood. That's only one of the issues. So if I want to inquire of her, she's telling us and asking us all to believe that that is not how she knew it was happening, and it's not how she would conduct herself, and she apparently equally doesn't find that acceptable. So as a landlord, it is not out of the question to ask her, since she seems to agree that shouldn't be going on. It's very simple. Just because the law says you can smoke weed, she as a landlord can certainly have as a condition that the renters are not allowed to smoke marijuana in or outside her house on the premises. I don't think that's unreasonable, and I think listen, she doesn't have to put that condition
I
in.
was in college and I smoked pot.
Great,
And I
great.
don't think that you can say
Once-
to
yeah,
anybody not to smoke pot.
Hold on, but we're not saying She's
On
not,
the
we're not asking her to tell her people they can't smoke weed. They just can't smoke it on the premises. And you know what?
In the house?
Listen,
Excuse
I was
me.
asking her.
Excuse me. Forgetting about the marijuana for now. Are you pleading ignorance to the fact that people have unlicensed vehicles without license plates up on jacks in the street?
She did not
Garbage
know
in the
about it.
street?
She
Do you
did
not
not
know
know.
about that?
She did not know.
Okay, so you,
She will
so,
take care
so
of
let's
that
stick to that.
today.
So let's stick to that.
Yes.
And let's solve this problem so the neighbors don't have to deal with it.
Agreed.
And become a more involved owner, from my point of view. Thank you.
I agree, anything like that, but I think that the thing with,
If I'm a landlord and I don't want people to have dogs at my house, I don't care that it's legal to have dogs. I can say, no dogs at my house. Likewise, she can say, listen, that's not how I want this house to work. I don't want the neighbors to be inconvenienced. I want to be a good neighbor. And therefore, my renters, you're not smoking pot on these premises, inside or out. Just because you
I
want them to
hope
be able
you're
to
right.
Stop talking over me. Just because you want her renters to be able to smoke pot around it, maybe they can come and smoke it at your yard. But if she seems to be in agreement with these people, so I'm not sure why you're ruffling all the feathers here. It's very reasonable for a landlord to say about the landlord's own house. I'm not asking her not to smoke pot at her house. I'm suggesting that, given that she seems to agree with these folks, that it's not fair to the rest of the neighbors, that she might say, as a landlord, no smoking weed on my premises, tenants, just like she can say no dog, yes dog, whatever. That's her right, and she seems to be in agreement. And you obviously feel strongly about people being entitled to smoke pot. They're entitled. She just doesn't have it on her premises if it's being a bad name. Okay, we're moving on from the marijuana.
can I respond now?
Nope, we're done with marijuana. Go ahead. Nope, wait, let this lady speak. We usually don't give you 2 shots. I'll let you have another minute in a second, but let this lady finish hers, okay?
I understand her stress. I do, because the neighbors have also been stressed, okay, to the max. We have approached her renters about these problems, and he does nothing but laugh at us.
What's the name of the person you approached, if you know, so you can tell
I
her?
don't know.
What does he look like?
Does not speak English.
What does he look like?
He has black hair, a beard.
You know who she's talking about? Black hair, beard.
He has a 16-year-old son who is also genuinely as rude as he is. Neighbors have approached him. We've gone together or we've gone separately to complain about these.
Hold on, is that
She
your...
has been also, notified by email about her lawn not being kept.
Okay, hold. You know the person that she's referencing, is that your tenant? Beard, black hair, son 16, is that your tenant? Okay, good enough. I just want you to know so you could speak to him. Okay, go ahead.
I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I apologize. I just want to solve these as we go.
It's been an inconvenience to us, and it really does take our property values down as homeowners to have this in the neighborhood. And nothing has been done. I mean, finally, I think somebody sent a lawn service over to take care of the lawn, but...
That's already happened.
I believe that
Okay,
has,
so-
after several
Good.
emails, but yes,
Okay.
not unfair. I try to be fair.
You seem so.
But this is not, my concern, originally why I came, was I don't understand this part in the notification that to construct a second-story addition with a balcony and a second-story addition, both attached to the dwelling.
That's a 2-story. The second one's a 2-story addition. See, it's not second. And that is very de minimis. Where's I'll show you on the site plan. You want to step up here real quick? Let me show you where it is. Oh, you have the site plan in front of you? Okay, look at the front stoop. You see the front stoop? It says roofed stoop.
Okay.
See where it says roofed stoop? Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Look diagonally to the left corner of that stoop.
So what is that second addition going to be?
Okay, so let me tell you the difference. When it says second-story addition, that means it's on top of something. It's not on the, when it says two-story, it means the first and second, so it's outside the footprint. She had testified earlier that that's just to enlarge slightly the foyer, the entrance. That's a very tiny, tiny piece. The rest of the proposal is on top of the existing house.
So this is going to become a 5-bedroom dwelling upstairs with a...
I thought she said 4 upstairs and 2 baths upstairs that were added. I don't know if there's already one up there.
No, there is one guest office on the first floor.
Okay.
That's what they might refer
5?
to as the 5th.
Yeah, 5 bedrooms, 4 up top, 2 bathrooms, and then the one on the first. Okay, is that what, I think I have one more person, but I don't know where my sign-in sheet went. Joe, do you know where? I don't have it.
I think Christina took it.
So go ahead, sir, give your name and address.
Anthony Mafia, 722 Willow Road, Franklin Square.
And it's what she said, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, sir, tell us what else you need us to know.
I came today because of the concerns we have about the situation in the house that's being rented. Our concerns were many, most of which have been stated already. But one of my concerns that I bring today is what I've heard here so far from the people that are looking to build a house, and that is that there seems to be some kind of indifference towards how we feel about what's going on. And also, my concern is what are they going to do with this house after they construct it? And I was there was an implication here that, you know, maybe the house is going to be flipped after they do this. So nobody's going to live in it. They're going to build it. They're going to flip it. They put renters in just to make some money without actually vetting the renters or seeing if they were, you know, capable of taking care of the home, which they are not. So my concern is really that. And I'm kind of getting this from the way, you know, the individuals, you know, responded to the question about, you know, if you would live in the house and guarantee that things would be okay. And there was some question about whether that should even be assented to. So that is my concern now. And I'm concerned about the way the house is being kept. You know, the landlord can't be every place all the time, but certainly they can stop by, see the property, call the people, and look at their investment to see if it's being cared for correctly, and if it is impacting on the community, and that hasn't been done to my knowledge.
And she has indicated that her goal is for her to live there. And apparently, according to her representative, the house she currently occupies is well kept, so that's all good news for the neighborhood once we get there. But
Right, but her representative also was questioning whether she would assent to the fact that she would, you know, be living there and keep the house in good order, and there was some question about that. You know, the question about the pot, I think, is a whole other issue. You know, her representative claims that she smoked pot. Yeah, I don't care. But the point is...
it's not about smoking pot.
That's correct.
It's about being a good neighbor
That's correct.
and being a landlord who has
Right.
the power to tell the tenants what's not
being a
allowable on the
responsible
property.
landlord as well.
And I think that she's indicated that that's her goal.
And we would hope that that would be the case. And those were my concerns.
And I think she's credible on that, so, and I appreciate your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you for your time.
Everyone's talked a lot. If you want to make a quick summary, but since we went back and forth, we don't
I'll
really
make it
need a
quick.
full
I'll make it
summation.
quick.
So if you want to make a remark or two, and then we're
Yeah.
going to close the case.
I'd like to first of all acknowledge that, especially me, but I understand my client too over here, we are very concerned about what you're going through. And my client expressed, and I don't want it to be a condition, it's not that I don't want these things, but I don't want it to become a condition, expressed that she's going to try and get rid of these people ASAP.
And
I
what?
think she's going to try and terminate their contract even closer than the 2 month if she can.
Okay.
She made this, we just spoke about it.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be probably easier than trying to do other things.
Well, that or,
And I think that, the burden of keeping a mortgage is a burden, but unfortunately,
well,
we
just for the
know-
record, though, she said she had already given him notice to move out at the
2
end of
months.
October. I'm
Right.
not trying to put a financial burden on her for the mortgage, and we have never said she needs to get them to move out. The focus is conditions, number one, the appearance of the place, number two, the other illegalities as to the car on the jacks, no registration on vehicles, and then the other things that she can do as a landlord to be a good neighbor. That's the focus. So if
And
she needs to
that's-
keep them
yeah.
through the end of November for her mortgage, we can all understand and appreciate
Right.
that, as long as they conduct themselves the way she would if she were there.
All right.
That's really the goal.
And that's absolutely agreeable, and I think I would act on it, and she will act on it, and I already texted her husband and expressed to him what we're going through, and I hope everything will settle with the neighbors. I had some answers to the questions, and I don't know if they're relevant anymore, but the fact that the stairs go from the first floor to the second floor, and the same stairs go from the first floor to the basement, is typically done in every house that we live
There's
in.
no issue about that. We were just trying to understand what was where.
Okay, no, but I think there was a misconception about this tenement, like stairs going up and
No,
down.
I don't
It's
think
not.
that was the-
It's usually stairs going from first floor to second floor, and you put the stairs from first to
Yes, that's
basement
actually
just
how we-
below it.
Yes, there was no issue with that. That's actually how it should be done.
Right.
It's the other staircase, but
And
we've
the other stair is a door to a kitchen, that the door to the basement happened to be next to it.
Right, but we've
And
been
that's-
through all that.
yeah,
We got it.
And, yeah, so I
it?
believe that,
Okay,
all I have to
so if
say.
there are no other questions, you got 2 seconds. We have other people who've been waiting since 9:30.
Thomas Cozier, 751 Willow Road, Franklin Square, New York. I just wanted to say, you said something, I'll just say it quickly. You said something earlier, the conditions of the way the house is right now, we probably wouldn't be, is probably correct. If she would have had a different scenario, and two, can you put on that order to say, or the, whatever the word you call it,
Conditions, what?
to, they have to be the owner occupied, because it still sounds like they're not going to be.
Well, we'll address that as a
The
board.
one she said was, oh, they have a beautiful house now. All right, so if they have a beautiful house now, what are they doing with this?
I understand. Okay, thank you.
If you are authorized to do such a thing, that would be great. And I think that will leave a lot of our issues.
Thank you, folks. Thank you all for coming. Are there any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. The board is going to reserve decision until they
Such
go
time.
through the matters, the paperwork, and review the testimony. They may make an on-site inspection.
Definitely
Thank you.
will. One or more board members will make an on-site inspection.
Thank you.
And everyone will be notified.
And I
And
have
everyone will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, folks. Let's let the other folks get up there quickly. Patrick, go ahead and call it. We have 2 more. Oh, yeah. Patrick, go ahead.
Next, we have case
You only have one person.
33424 Oceanside, FRJ Oceanside Donuts Incorporated, doing business as Dunkin' Donuts. Renewal of grant to maintain one double face illuminated ground sign, 72 square feet per face, overall size 144 square feet, overall height 19.5 feet, setback 7 feet from Long Beach Road, southeast corners Long Beach Road and Fairview Avenue, also known as 2885 Long Beach Road. Madam Chair, there's nobody here on this case. We did reach out to them, and they are unable to attend today.
Okay, wait, this is not our second call, though, right? This is brand new.
This is a brand new one.
All right, I think that since there's no one here in opposition It's a renewal. The building department inspected the premises on March 15th, 2024, and found that the applicant was in compliance with all the previously imposed conditions. Will grant an appearance waiver. And are there any other questions from the board?
I move the hearing be
Hold
closed.
on.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to grant a waiver since there's nobody else. On this one occasion, since I'm not the real chair, I can make mistakes. So we're going to grant a waiver, and then I already put on the record when it was inspected and found to be in compliance. So any other questions from the board?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, it will be notified.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next case.
Next, we have cases 546 24 through 547 24. Levittown, Ryan and Denise Duck. Variance front yard average setback. Maintain roofed over portico attached dwelling. Maintain 4-foot high fence forward dwelling which may substantially obstruct line of sight. Also known as 103 Saddle Lane.
Sorry for your long wait.
Christopher Hunt, H-U-N-T, 23 Harrison Place, Farmingdale, New York. My notes say good morning, but I'll change it to good afternoon. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and board members. My name is Christopher Hunt. I'm a registered architect. I'm representing the owners Ryan and Denise Duck, who reside at the subject property of 103 Saddle Lane, Levittown, New York. The property is an LPRD zone district. I'm in front of you for two variances today. The first case is for the front portico, which was built somewhere between 2013 and 2015, prior to the current owners purchasing the house in 2015. The portico has a front yard setback of 21.2 feet and encroaches into the minimum 25-yard front setback, a distance of 4.8
I'm sorry.
feet. and
Pardon me, hold on. I apologize, it's hard to hear with them. So what's the front yard required and what do you propose?
Okay, so the average front yard setback on Saddle Lane is 35 feet. The front portico has a setback of 21.2 feet, a difference of 14.8 feet.
And has the portico been there since your client bought the house?
Yes.
How did you come to know you needed to legalize it?
We filed the permit in 23
For?
a construction of a second floor addition. And while we were getting reviewed at the building department, they found that we needed permits for the front portico and an addition.
And for the fence? And now
We filed a maintain for that, and then while reviewing that permit, it was found out that there was not a permit for the fences that were on the property as well.
Okay, that PVC fence for the dwelling, is it solid or is it picket?
It is a solid fence on both sides.
And that is around their driveway?
Correct.
And it blocks the view.
Wait, do they also have it looks like it covers their driveway. Oh, hold on, I'm wrong. I'm so confused right now. That side.
The fences were
so-
built prior to the homeowner's purchase as well in 2015.
Yeah, the fence on the south side, where is the neighbor's driveway, the neighbor to the north?
Let me get my bearings one second.
Let me see. The neighbor called Xia? Xiao?
Second.
The neighbor on the opposite side of their house than the one their driveway's on.
Oh, there we go.
Actually, both neighbors, just give me both at once.
Okay, so looking at the radius map, the O'Connor residence, which is to the south, is, the fence is on our subject property's driveway.
Right next to it.
The house to the north, the fence is
Wait.
on.
Where's the driveway of the O'Connors? On the
Right
south
next to the
side?
applicants.
No, it's not.
Okay, it's on the north side of the O'Connor's property.
Not near the fence.
It's not near the fence, it's on
Okay.
the opposite side.
Other
I'm calling
neighbor.
it the south side because
Okay.
the radius map north is up.
Got it.
The O'Connors would have the driveway on the south side of their
Great.
property,
Okay.
the furthest distance away from the subject. property's
Understood.
fence.
The neighbor to the north, where's the driveway?
Their driveway abuts the fence.
Both of them. Okay, generally speaking, when the fences are near driveways, in a manner that would block the visibility to either vehicular or pedestrian traffic, we generally get the fences set back. Do they have, does the applicant, so the fences come down the sides towards Saddle Lane, but nothing goes across the front on Saddle Lane, right?
Correct.
So it doesn't enclose any. So we'll have to deliberate, but most likely we'll want to cut these fences since they're by driveways to the south. I mean, they're by the driveway on the side where if you're pulling out, the vehicular traffic's coming. We'll probably end up cutting them back 8 to 10 feet, but since they don't really enclose anything, I don't think that's going to create much of an issue, other than we wish we could still have it.
Okay. Just as a reference, there are 10 other solid fences on the whole length of Saddle.
They may
Saddle.
not be legal, but if you look at Google Earth, and I haven't been there, the car to the north, they backed it in. It's an issue, you can't see.
Right.
Have you been to the property?
Yes.
And
Yes, I have.
did you pull into the subject property's driveway?
I did not, I was on the street.
It's got to be cut back.
Okay, so is there anything else you wish to add?
Just one other notice, I don't know if it's important, I just got word from home that one of the mail-ins was returned to me unreceived. I don't know if it came to my mail today.
No, you're okay.
It doesn't appear,
The law requires you to mail, not to...
oh, yeah, those weren't the certifieds, were they? Those were the regular mailing.
Yes, it was
Okay.
certified, but it was returned.
Okay.
don't know
Is
if
there
it's-
anything else you wish to add?
No.
Do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar, when the board renders
No,
its
just do the
decision,
second call.
you'll be notified.
Thank you, sir. Sorry you had to wait so long. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Last thing we're going to do is the second call. We're going to wait to do the decision until the chairman's back. I mean,
Bless
if
you.
he comes back.
Are you sick?
She's on antibiotics. She's not contagious, you know. Well, actually, Patrick, we'll go ahead and call it, and then you can just state for the record, and then,
Next, we have on for second call, case 60724, West Hempstead, Hempstead Tire Service Incorporated, renewal of grant to maintain one double-face ground sign, overall size 360 square feet, 180 square feet per face, overall height 16 feet 3 inches, setback 0 feet from front property line, and 7-foot clearance from ground to bottom of sign, also known as 265 Hempstead Turnpike.
so in this case, what we're going to do, we are going to adjourn it and I'm going to explain why, since it's also not dissimilar from the prior case. In the past, we've had some issues with the sign at issue being okay, but with a lot of other signs being temporarily put up, like those pendants and stuff. Mr. O'Brien used to keep close watch on this, so I wouldn't mind having a chance to take a look at if there are other temporary signs that are causing site issues, because it's very common. So we'll adjourn this to what day?
December 4th, 11 a.m.
December 4th at what time?
11 a.m.
All right, so adjourned. Okay, motion to close the hearing?
Go ahead.
Second? All in favor? All right. Can I ride with you, Mark? Yes. We're going to do them after when John's back. That way we have him here.
He did.
We just did it.
You,
I believe so. I just need to chair the board. All right, let's go.
yeah, absolutely, sure. You have to go home and walk the dog?